Horses stepping on the track here for today's third race. Race 3, 4 minutes away. Scratch the 1, start of the pick 6. Race 3, 4 minutes. Whistler Style is the trailer as Our Liberty Bell is in front. Our Liberty Bell is up by 2. Down at the rail here is Toned Up. Travels in tandem now with Kiss Me Hearty. They're a share at 2nd and 3rd. Behind them is Patty Cakes, is well settled in 4th, 24-second flat, opening quarter mile. Still far back now to Whistler Style, who's the trailer. Our Liberty Bell, as command, is still up by that 2. Jose Lescano and Our Liberty Bell doing it nicely. Toned Up is shoved along towards the inside. Same can be said for Kiss Me Hearty to the outside and Savachi. Then comes Patty Cakes and Luis Rivera Jr. They're trying to make a move now from 4th. Whistler Style can still see them all through a 47.53 half-mile time. Our Liberty Bell is just moving right along. Kiss Me Hearty is all into the outside here of Toned Up, and Toned Up is now reclaiming 2nd. Patty Cakes is all in. Whistler Style is trying to rally on from the back. Our Liberty Bell still as a statue as Jose Lescano is. They get set to reach the top of the stretch. A quarter mile left to go. Our Liberty Bell kicks for home. Our Liberty Bell is still up by 2, 3. Now widening lengths, approaching a final furlong. Still chasing there is Toned Up. Whistler Style from the back has taken 3rd. Kiss Me Hearty and Patty Cakes is the trailer. But it's all Our Liberty Bell. Our Liberty Bell got right to the front and it was over. Our Liberty Bell is just moving right along and we'll get the victory. Another one for trainer Linda Rice. Our Liberty Bell wins it tight here. Toned Up to the inside of Whistler Style and Kiss Me Hearty in 1 minute 39.29 seconds.
Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Good to have you with us. Program brought to you in parts by America's Best Racing, for the love of the race. Visit americasbestracing.net today. 3rd has just run. We will show you what happened here in a moment. Greg Wolf, New York Racing Association handicapper. Andy Serling, as we're going to get back on that road to the first Saturday in May coming up this weekend here in New York.
A lot of big preps this weekend. A lot of interesting 3-year-olds running. Some making their 3-year-old debut. Some running races down in Florida after big maiden performances. A lot going on. A lot's going to change as we head down the road to Triple Crown. So far, we haven't seen any horse that stepped forward and said, I'm the one.
No. Could it be this weekend? Possibly. We will see. We're looking forward to it, and we'll get into race that kicked off the pick 6 again. It just happened moments ago in just a second, as in right now. So this, amazingly, we were talking about it before we came on air, Our Liberty Bell appeared to be much the one to beat. Somehow went off co-favorite with the 4 in here. Kiss Me Hearty was 6-1 morning line.
I think we all had the same trepidation with this horse. Was claimed away from Jamie Ness, and was said in the handicapping show this morning, the numbers of horses claimed off of Jamie Ness are not that bad. He's not a guy that's impossible to claim from, but you think about how much he's known as a move-up kind of trainer. Tough to claim from. Well, wasn't the case here, and a great job by Jose Lescano. There was other potential speed in this race, particularly the 4, who showed no early speed, maybe didn't get out that well, but as soon as Jose had this horse at the front end, this race was over.
So 9-5, Our Liberty Bell picks up the 6th win of her career. This 5-year-old mare in a first off-the-claim win. Linda Rice Barn and one of our go-to riders, Jose Lescano, aboard for the victory at 9-5 here in race 3. And what's been a pretty formful beginning through the first 3 races on this Thursday card.
Yeah, we have. You're right. This horse, I don't know if this horse was favored. Let me look. No, it was not the favorite.
Slight second.
So the first non-favorite to win in today's card. I think the races, though, obviously it's not a big field-filled card. I think they're fairly open going forward. And I know you and I had plenty of disagreements throughout the day, which we'll see if one of us can at least do something smart.
All right, we'll get into the late pick 5 in a moment. You can play it, of course, by getting signed up with Our Bets. We'll show you how to do that in a moment. Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. The rest of the card from here in South Ozone Park, New York. Again, late pick 5 next, and then the late pick 4 begins in race number 5. We're going to go a mile and an eighth in the next race to kick off that late pick 5 for Claiming Company, non-winners of 2 lifetime. You can play it by getting signed up at NYRABets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. The offer, there it is. Get that $200 deposit match. New customer bonus when you punch in that code. Bonus 200 at sign up. And play with us all prep season long and beyond on that road to that first Saturday in May at NYRABets.com.
You know, you mentioned the prep season, as we're going to talk about Oaklawn in a moment. people thought it was going to be last weekend that Patch Adams could be one of the ones, and he showed that he is not.
That was, a lot of bad trips and beginnings in that race, but Ron Moquette with a horse with seemed like a sprint pedigree stretching out.
I think it is a sprint pedigree, but he did stretch out, and he was actually very impressive in winning. It's not like he was gifted that race.
Look at all this water on the track, flash flood warnings, and as a result, card today will be moved to Monday, and hopefully we see them back in action tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we will. I know I was keeping an eye on that forecast and seeing, and sometimes you see the forecast and they get better and better and better. This one just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
We'll have to do a check-in with Mig, see how he's holding up.
Down with his canoe? Hiking today?
Yeah.
He's rugged.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll get into the late pick 5 right after this. Man who figures to be prominent the rest of the card this afternoon and all year long, as he usually is here in New York, Manny Franco. He'll be on board. Of course, who's trying to prove he's Derby potential. Impressive maiden winner last time out. Captain Cook will make his stakes debut in the Withers this Saturday. We'll have a preview ahead. Back in our Thursday coverage, just getting underway here on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races, and that's where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Get signed up. Started, go to nairabets.com. Bonus $200, again, that code to use at sign up for new members. Get that $200 deposit match. Sign up. Bonus. Winner of the first leg of the Pick 6, our Liberty Bell. Linda Rice, first off the claim with Jose Lezcano aboard.
Yeah, no problem in this case, claiming off of Jamie Ness, and a good job by Jose Lezcano, breaking well, taking nothing away from this racehorse and putting her right on the front end, and she was able to control 5-year-old mare.
Last couple of route races had made her, I had thought, I think you agree, much the one to beat in here. Surprisingly did not go off favorite.
Yeah, it was odd. And I think it was probably a lot of people with trepidation about betting a horse claim from Jamie Ness. It turned out probably ran better than the horse had been running for Jamie.
So $5.70, and you see how formful things have been to this point. That pick 3, $17.70. But we have some races where things can change, certainly, including the next race here coming up. Race 4, start of the late pick 5, $25,000 claiming race, all for sale for that price. Horses that only have one win on the resume, mile and an eighth distance.
Yeah, it's interesting. The very slight favorite by a dime for $1 is the 6 over the number 2 in the doubles. Yet in pick 3s, the 2 is a substantial favorite. So it'll be interesting to see how the race plays out. And I think, listen, I didn't like the 1, and you like the 1 here. So I guess between us, we think anyone could win this race.
And first trumpet, the 5, one who looks like could be leading the way, and everyone's going to have to try and run him down probably to get the win.
There is very little speed signed on in this race, and I agree. I don't love his chances, but like I said, I wouldn't knock anybody who had an opinion in this race. I think it's wide open.
All right, we'll get a look at the field post-parade in just a moment. We mentioned Road to the Derby picking up here in New York again this weekend with the Withers. It's our ABR race of the week. Mile and an eighth, $250,000 purse for 3-year-olds trying to get some Derby points. And Captain Cook, who we talked about going to break, Manny Franco for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn. Big maiden win on a wet track in start number 2.
A horse that was bred by Mary Lou Whitney's stable, but with John Hendrickson passing away this summer, they had a dispersal and was bought for $410,000 in dispersal back in November. Immediately paid some dividends with an absolute blowout win in a sloppy track going 6 furlongs, but Greg, or 7 furlongs, excuse me, 7 furlongs in the slop to a mile and an eighth on what appears likely to be a dry track by then. We are expecting a little bit of rain tomorrow, but it shouldn't affect Saturday. And a mile and an eighth. He does feel like the speed of the speed along with the 4 Uncle Jim. I just don't know. A practical joke trying to stretch out. The dam side is really, it's not a ton of pedigree saying distance. It's really more of a sprint pedigree. Maybe Rick Dutrow wants to find out quickly whether or not he thinks this horse belongs in the Derby Trail or belongs in shorter races.
Meanwhile, a horse who already has some Derby points, Mo Quality, coming out of the Smarty Jones. Well, Cole Battle has established himself as a major player, and his form flattered even more with that Ron Moquette winner, Speed King, winning in the Southwest.
My problem is that he was sitting right on top of that super slow pace when none of the speeds decided to go last time. So I don't know if he was somewhat second by default. The horse who photos with him, Kale's Angel, was coming off a huge win in a sprint, but they cut that horse back sprinting, and he did win, but he was fortunate to win and ran a significantly slower race. I have reservations while thinking Mo Quality's a player in here, and I'm glad to see him here. I don't have any confidence that he's necessarily that good.
Meanwhile, Omaha, coming out of the Jerome. Last time we saw him, early January, when we turned the page to 2025, came from way, way out of it to pick up second behind Cyclone State.
So did he pick up second, Greg, because everybody was just tired from chasing Cyclone State out there, and he sort of sat back and made that one run? And, I mean, I know you look at him, and I feel like, well, I'm confident he'll get the distance, but I think if he wins this race, it will be, and I do think he can win. But I feel like it's going to be more a function of the other ones, A, not being as good, but also having trouble with the distance. And I think he's the one you could be most confident will handle the 9 furlongs.
Yeah, this early, still in your 3-year-old campaign where the horse is untested at the distance, that could be the case. We'll find out. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale as we get set for another trip down that prep season road to the first Saturday in May.
Yeah, looking forward to it. The Withers here at Aqueduct on Saturday, Greg. And as you guys were mentioning, I think distance of this 9 furlongs, a real deciding factor as to who you might play. And I think Omaha is the most convincing, going the 2-turn 9 furlongs. But let's touch on another horse who will be stretching out in distance, and that is the rail runner in here, Global Steve, who is a son of Bucaro. You don't often think of route distances. But on the bottom side, he's a half-brother to Cagliostro, multiple graded stakes place at a route of ground, and stakes winner at least going a mile. What I like about this horse with the stretch out, first of all, at least from what I can gather on the replay, is that he does look like a bigger type, somewhat gangly, but it's almost like he ran 2 races here, right? We didn't show the start where he was slow. Then he rushed up on the rail, got into contention, took over the lead on the turn, and still put a good margin between him and the rest of his foes. So when horses do that going shorter distance, and that one was at 7 furlongs, it just says to me that usually there's some stamina to handle a stretch out. So an intriguing runner for the ever dangerous Butch Reed barn. Greg?
Yeah, we've talked over the years about Butch Reed and how dangerous he always is when he comes to New York. He comes with horses ready to bring their best performance.
And, you know, you see Buchero, and Maggie was referring to the dam side, which wants to go very far. And you say, well, I wouldn't bet a Buchero going 1 1/8. Well, would you have bet on a Volatile to win the Rebel or not the Rebel, the House West over the weekend? So sometimes they can fool you a little bit, and we'll see. I'm not going to discount any horse, certainly coming from Butch Reed, in a race that did produce a Triple Crown race winner 2 years ago.
And produced, a Butch Reed winner. Uncle Heavy, who we loved, who overcame a bias to win.
I still love Uncle Heavy. I don't care what he's done.
That was a great performance, wasn't it, in this race last year?
It was. It was an incredible performance by him.
All right, we look forward to that coming up this weekend. That's race 7, 3:46 Eastern start time. And here's a look at the Road to the Derby prep races. Saturday, Holy Bull from Gulfstream. Robert B. Lewis from Santa Anita with your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner returning for Bob Baffert. Withers as well. And then Sam F. Davis, Risen Star, Sunland Derby later on this month.
It'll be interesting in the Holy Bull. I think one of the things that's interesting is that Brad Cox had 2 recent maiden breakers, Tappan Street, who won with an 84 buyer at Gulfstream Park, but also his stablemate, the Gun Runner, actually, who got a 96 buyer gun medal winning down at Fairgrounds. That one's going 7 furlongs while Brad is running Tappan Street in the Holy Bull. Now, these horses have been working together for quite a while, apparently, kind of the worst kept secret in racing, and apparently Tappan Street outruns them. So the question is, can Tappan Street outrun him in the morning, but in the afternoon will he prove the faster and better horse? Not bad to be Brad Cox and have both of those horses in your barn.
And as for, I know we'll talk about it more later, Robert B. Lewis, you have your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner coming back for Baffert. 2 other stablemates that probably should not be counted out against him in that race.
Well, Rodriguez, who could end up should probably be the favorite in that race by post time, given his last race. And nice to see Wesley Ward with another router in there. Suddenly, Wesley's got plenty of routers in his barn.
Christopher Elliott making quite an impact here in New York. Young rider whose dad enjoyed a whole lot of success, best known for that run with Smarty Jones back in 2004. We'll tell you how Christopher decided ultimately to follow in Dad's footsteps.
Drain the Clock will win and win by as much as he wants.
Drain the Clock will bound home the winner. Drain the Clock, Jockey's Warrior, drain the clock by a head.
$120,000. $100,000 in the back.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
At the Keeneland September yearling sale, the premier thoroughbred auction venue in the world, Mandy Pope of Whisper Hill Farm signed the ticket on the $5 million sale topper by Curlin, bred by Stone Street Thoroughbred Holdings. He was one of $5 million plus yearlings by Curlin to sell. No fewer than 55 of his yearlings fell to the auction gavel, averaging nearly $600,000, making Curlin the #1 sire of yearlings in 2024. Curlin, the classic sire.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on Naira Bets. Open your Naira Bets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the Naira Bets app to start using Fast Facts today. Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage, and this is what's next, the start of the late pick 5, 1.8 mile distance. Horses who've not won 2 lifetime in for a claiming tag of $25,000. Favoritism, still the one who looks to be in front. So surprising that First Trumpet is this price. This should change.
Yeah, I think it will change right now. Maybe a lot of people are thinking this horse could be the speed in here, but by post time, the number 2 is going to likely be favored over the 6.
Yeah, 1 of 2 for the Dutro barn, and the 2 will have the young man aboard we're going to tell you about right now. Despite all the success of his father before him, including a chance at immortality after taking the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown on Smarty Jones back in 2004, Christopher Elliott wasn't sure he wanted to follow in Dad's footsteps. But after watching his dad win with an impressive ride out in California, he got the bug, and it's been full steam ahead ever since.
I remember being 2-3 years old, going to the track and looking at the horses since the beginning, pretty much, you know. When I was like 14 years old, we were in California and my dad had won a stake at Del Mar. That's when I started thinking about it.
Smarty Jones and Stewie Elliott goes on to win the Kentucky Derby by 2.5.
I've watched the Derby and the Preakness and the Belmont 150 times or more, you know. It was just really, really cool.
I thought that there was probably a good chance that he would want to, you know, ride, but moving sometimes made it difficult. When we got here, the first couple years, you know, I'd get on the pony and he'd get on the thoroughbred and take him around the track. Then he went to Ocala and then came back and then actually started galloping on the track. You know, when they all start off, they're all pretty green, but he wanted it. He wanted to learn.
After every race, pretty much, I talk to him and, you know, he says, oh, you did great, or you could have done this, maybe you should have done this. And I think that's why I've been able to get better in the quick amount of time that I have, you know, because he's been a big help. My agent is Jose Santos Jr. I started off the meet at Lone Star Park in Texas. I actually rode my first winner the first race that I rode at Lone Star. And after that meet, I had rode about 85, 90 horses. He said, listen, this is the plan. We'll go to Monmouth, you'll ride a little bit over there, and then after Monmouth, we'll check out New York. My first stakes winner was for Tina Hurley. It was my 6th winner at Monmouth Park in the Regret Stakes. I was way in the back, and they were flying up front, and I came like maybe 12 lengths out of it and won.
Reclusive from a mile behind is coming fast, takes the lead for apprentice Christopher Elliott.
The first person I called when I was back in the jockey room was him.
It's very exciting, it is. You know, just in the last year when he started, he accomplished a lot. He got his driver's license, he graduated high school, and he got his jockey's license and got off to riding races, so I'm very proud.
And this is the one that young Christopher Elliott will ride in the upcoming race here, the 2, Mo Rhodes. Riding, you know, it's a way to do it, right against one of the top jockey colonies there is in the sport.
And we showed the feature, and now the horse went to the 7-5 favorite. We'll see. I mean, the thing I like about Christopher Elliott is that he's improved since he got here. I think when he got here, he was a little lost out there, and he has improved a lot. He's been aggressive, and he shows good signs. You know, we'll see how things progress for him. Wish him the best of luck, and he's obviously got a heck of an agent with Jose Santos Jr., who in a pretty short time, though, you know, he did get a lot of press in the early days when Funny Side was running, though I'm sure he's embarrassed by that.
Busiest man in horse racing?
Well, he's really making a name for himself in the industry. He really is. I mean, he's doing a tremendous job. He's got like 8 or 10 jockeys. I mean, he's got riders all over the place and doing a fantastic job with them.
Look at these mounts lined up for this young ride. I mean, these are big mounts and big barns. Gray Wing, horse to beat probably in that 7th race. Critical Threat, major player.
All of the horses he's riding are live.
Yeah.
And that's the best an agent can do.
3-2 favoritism here with Mo Rhodes, who's dropping in class for one of the sharpest barns in the game. And, you know, stablemate obviously next door in Boys Code. Both these two figured of the 2 from the same barn. Who would you prefer?
I prefer the 3, to be honest with you. And I think there's a question for whatever it's worth. Maybe they wanted the Bug Rider. But Boys Code, Jose Gomez rode Mo Rhodes last time. He's riding Boyd Coast today. I don't know. Maybe Dutro didn't want him on there. Maybe, I don't know what the case. Maybe they wanted to use the Bug Rider. But I don't know why there's such a discrepancy between their 2 horses.
Call to post. We here in the background. We'll start off with Brown Don't Stop. And this horse, a couple of efforts at this distance have been probably two of his better races.
Yeah, you like him more than I do. I feel like he was riding along on a gold rail last time and kind of angled out in the stretch and made his performance look better than it was. But he is a big price if you like him.
Here's Christopher Elliott. Just showed you the feature on him on Mo Roads.
Broke a little slowly last time with a bit of a wide trip and a funny race. He drops down. I don't know how much easier the competition is.
Stablemate to the 2. Boys Code for Detro as well.
Claimed from a lower percentage barn, did not run dramatically better in the subsequent start, but I'm hoping for more improvement today.
The one they should all be having to catch, you would think, here, First Trumpet.
I agree. Eric Hensel's one job, put him in front. If he doesn't win from there, not his fault.
And he's been very aggressive lately, and that's been leading to some success for Eric Hensel. D-Day Sky, Wayne Potts. One to beat?
Should be stalking. Yeah, I mean, if he runs his figure of 2 races back, he's going to win this race. Losing to a horse like Scat to Tap, who's better than these horses. But his last race was abysmal. So you have to ask yourself, do you forgive his last race coming back in just about 19 days after having 28 days before the start? I don't know what to make of him because his last was not good.
Pick 5 pool, 55,841 and growing. Let's bring up a fast fact here on the 6. Jockey Sahin Savachi, 6 wins on dirt route races over the last 15 days, most amongst North American jockeys. So this horse, again, 2 back. That race is going to be very difficult to beat, but it was at a mile, not a mile and an eighth.
Yeah, but he has run good figures and while being an also-ran in tougher races going a mile and an eighth. That third-place finisher to Moore's Law up in Saratoga, horse that you like at a big price, Greg, would certainly make him contentious. My problem is his last race. He ran badly. His race 2 back that we're showing here, he's going to win if he runs this race in all likelihood. And Savachi, those stats mean nothing to me, but he's a very good rider, and I think it is a positive rider change getting him. I mean, Savachi has made a real Sahin Savachi coming here from Canada. He's made a real impression on a lot of us since coming down here. He's probably one of the better riders from out of town that have come here in the winter in quite some time.
So he'll be on board D-Day Sky outside post. We're a minute away from the start of the Pick 5. Let's go down to Maggie.
I could not agree more. I've been really impressed with what we have seen from Sahin Savachi on the racetrack. Just a really smart rider and really came in here with an understanding of how this racetrack can play. So I'm going to land on his mount here. That's number 6, D-Day Sky. And as Andy was mentioning, if you kind of go back and isolate his 9 furlong races, they're pretty good. Consistent figures against tougher company. I agree. I don't know what went wrong last time because I thought he looked pretty darn good on the track and in the paddock. Same thing yet again here. So I am going to give him another shot. Just well conditioned, great coat on him. And while he's not a horse that screams 9 furlongs, I think the proof is on the paper at least, as we'll check in with his main rival. That's number 2 in here at even money, Mo Roads. I haven't seen this horse before, but what I have seen is Rick Dutrow horses. And Rick, kind of like Linda Rice, Michelle Nevin, they're trainers that put a lot of conditioning on their horses. Their weight consistently looks good, if not better than previous times I've seen him. Not the case for Mo Roads, a horse that it might just be him. He might be a lightly framed, kind of tall, leggy, gangly type of guy. So, like I said, it could be a moot point. But I do like him getting to 9 furlongs because last time he just was kind of loping along on the outside. And for me, a horse that ran like that going a 1-turn mile really wants to go this type of distance a bit more. Then on the insides, number 1, Brown Don't Stop. And he's done well for my friend Juan Bernardini. Wired last time by Jansen. I do think, obviously, this is a much tougher spot. I know, Greg, you have some reasons to like this horse, but he did make a favorable impression on me, at least in the paddock. I didn't love the way he was traveling and finishing up his last race, lingering on his inside lead, just really not extending himself, but yet, still was kind of getting to Jansen. I think, though, that was more of a product of Jansen just kind of easing up in the latter stages of that race. But a big warm-up here beneath him and Harkey, really trying to get this guy loosened up. Greg?
All right, so 12-1. Thank you, Maggie, on Brown Don't Stop. And we'll see just better performances at a mile and an eighth, which he got back to last time out. And we'll see if he can make an impact here. Just we're both perplexed as to why Mo Roads, the 2, really anyone in this race, should be 6-5.
I agree. Now, he was the morning line favorite 2-1, but there's a big difference between that and his uncoupled stablemate, Boys Code, was 3-1 on the line. Well, they're betting as though they know Boys Code couldn't outrun you and I in a horse suit, and that Mo Rhodes is going to win. And I'm not going to be shocked if Mo Rhodes wins. He's dropping second off the claim. But he's also claimed away from Tom Amoss, who's not the easiest guy to claim from. He's not a horse that has a lot of speed. In fact, he even has less speed than Boys Code does. And I simply don't understand. It's almost like they know the 6 isn't going to show up. The 3 and 6 aren't going to show up. And so therefore he's a super short price. And maybe that will be the case, but I find his odds a little surprising, to say the least.
There's Christopher Elliott. Again, well stocked all afternoon long on this card. And we're seeing Rick Dutrow Jr. give these young riders, certainly on this circuit particularly, some big chances.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jose Gomez rides for him, I think, quite frequently in these situations. And, yeah, I was also by a situation, a lot of times Linda Rice dominates, and so much she'll use Jose Lezcano, she'll use Kendrick Armouche, she'll use Eric Cancel, and you sort of get using Manny Franco even. You know, it's tough to go against that barn that's in so many of these races, and they have top riders often locked up.
And, again, pace-wise in here, unless something happens out of the gate, First Trump at the 5 is going to be all by himself, it appears.
Right. If he breaks, well, I think the 6 is going to be stalking him. I don't think he's going to have a long, loose lead. And unfortunately, Eric's not the kind of rider that, like, aggressively sends, but he is supposed to be in front. I don't disagree. And with a clean break, unless somebody else goes on a mission, he needs to be in front in this race. He's got no chance to win otherwise.
There he is. Eric Cancel's job. Yeah, break clean, establish front-running position. See what happens here. That first turn comes up very quick. As well at 1 1/8. This configuration here at Aqueduct. Set for the late pick 5. Let's go to Chris Griffin to kick it off.
All set. And they're off. Off slowly was Mo Rhodes, the early trailer. Speed from First Trumpet right out to the front, and Brown Don't Stop is going to go right with this leader too. Joining them, 3 wide, that's D-Day Sky. Tightly bunched as they work into the turn, and the leader, Eric Hansel on First Trumpet, has the control, is up by a half length. Right to the outside is D-Day Sky, is now in between horses. Here comes Mo Rhodes. Is on the muscle, wants to go, is just tugging at Christopher Elliott, is working in between rivals, is right there in fourth. And holding that rail position as Brown Don't Stop. The lone trailer will be Boys Code. They worked to the backstretch and slowed things way down. Was First Trumpet 25.49 for the posted opening quarter. In pursuit is D-Day Sky right to the outside. More settled now, and in the clear, here comes Mo Rhodes. Mo Rhodes is out in the center of the racetrack, is now a shared 3rd and 4th with Brown Don't Stop, who's right in behind the leader. First Trumpet, Boys Code is the gray at the back end of the field, still with about 7 to make up. As there are 3 across the racetrack, and they went 50 and 3. For a half-mile time, First Trumpet is still there. D-Day Sky, in between horses, Mo Rhodes has been wanting to go throughout, is now taking second up on the outside here as they have less than a half mile to go. Brown Don't Stop is called upon for the effort from 4th and starting to make up some mile ground as Boys Code from the back. First Trumpet has yet to be passed. It's First Trumpet who went 1:15 flat for 3/4 of a mile. Mo Rhodes is now cut loose, and Brown Don't Stop is following this pair. Dropping back a touch was D-Day Sky, and Boys Code is going to have to catch them all. First Trumpet and Mo Rhodes comes calling for the lead. First Trumpet's trying to battle on back towards the inside, and Brown Don't Stop just on the wrong lead, is trying to make up some ground, is in 3rd, but Mo Rhodes has just wanted to go, and now Mo Rhodes is cut loose and is opening up this margin. Mo Rhodes is going to be much the best in here, sprinting well clear. Mo Rhodes, Christopher Elliott, they were off slowly, but they get the victory. First Trumpet will hold second, then Brown Don't Stop, and D-Day Sky in 1:53.57 seconds.
Mo Rhodes did not break well. Looked like it would not be a good outcome. This horse wins as easy as could be.
Yeah, he should have been 1-9 the way he ran. And I think something I said beforehand was true. Whoever they are, they knew the 6 can't run today, and they knew the 3 can't run. So now he was in a 3-horse field against Brown Don't Stop and First Trumpet, 2 horses that he is vastly superior to. And it really feels like the betting on him had a lot to do with knowing the likelihood that his 2 biggest competitors just weren't going to show up. They ran 4th and 5th, and a distant 4th and 5th as it was. So it makes me kind of think that it's a function of this horse Also, with other horses just not going to show up today, and they were bad, both of them, the 6 and 3. 3 never got out of a gallop, and the 6 barely was competitive for half the race.
Stumble out of the gate was last early.
Didn't matter.
Did not matter at all. Mo Rhodes, second career win. Maybe got the intel too. We're going to run the feature on his rider. 2516 feature angle pays off again. This horse heavily bet, which was surprising in itself. Form continues. Formful Thursday card through the first 4 here. Mo Rhodes, Rick Dutrow Jr., Michael Dubb Silks, and young Christopher Elliott. Good for him. Cashes in with another victory. We'll have the prices for you when we come back. There's that stumble in that pink cap, yellow silks. In the end, dominant winner anyway. Just much better than this group here in race 4. Going 1 mile and an 1/8. Picks up his second win of his 4-year-old career. We'll be back. Back with you on our Thursday coverage here on Fox Sports 2, America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. 4th race, start of the late pick 5. Mo Rhodes bet down to heavy favoritism. And young Christopher Elliott, we showed you the feature, collects a victory here for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn.
Yeah, I mean, this horse was just 1.5 hours the best. Flew the break completely and ended up winning for absolute fun.
As the 3-2 favorite. Let's go down to Maggie.
Here with winning trainer Rick Dutrow with Mo Rhodes. And Rick, watching his last race, first start for you, he just looked like a horse where 9 furlongs is really going to suit him. And boy, he put a lot of distance between him and the rest of the field today.
Yeah, he run good today. We're concerned why he's not breaking. When we cleaned him at Churchill, he really broke terrible and he got smashed after that. And we come here with him, we thought things were in good shape. Broke terrible last time, and today I'm just, man, he did it again. But he made up for it with when the jock got him outside, and he's a big, huge horse. I mean, he's way up there when you saddle him, so he's got a big stride, and I guess when he got him outside, the horse just was into it today, you know?
I've always thought that horses like him of his stature, they just feel claustrophobic in there. They don't have enough room to rock back and get out of the gate.
The big ones, yeah. I mean, it makes only sense to just give him a chance to open up, you know? Yeah.
Well, Captain Cook, who you'll be trying in the Withers this Saturday, stretching out. He was really impressive. Ran away with a field at 1-2 last time, breaking his maiden. Talk about the decision to stretch him out to the 9 furlongs.
Well, we're hoping and praying. You know, he's been training really, really good. He's been giving the riders a really good feel in the morning, so we're kind of excited about him. Manny's excited about him. Really like the way he's been training. We don't know that he'll get 2 turns, but we're going to take a shot now and see if he can, you know? Why not?
I agree with you, and I like your hat today.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations here. Looking forward to Saturday, too.
Thank you, babe.
Guys.
We're all babe in Rick Dutrow Jr.'s world.
What's his hat? I want to know if there's something special about that hat.
Yeah, we need that story, Maggie.
Maggie's
we'll do
keeping
a
that to
follow-up
herself.
in a moment. Mo Rhodes, the victory here as a dominant winner for $25,000 winners at 2.
Not necessarily how good you are. It's how you are compared to your competition.
Yeah.
He was considerably better than his competition today.
Next race, very interesting. We have 3-year-old fillies sprinting 6 furlongs, starter optional claiming race. We expected Dizarac to take a lot of money. That 7-2 will be getting a lot shorter. 6-5 morning line, as you see, and has faced the best of anybody in here, including With the Angels, in the second start of her career.
He's an overwhelming favorite. She's an overwhelming favorite in the multi-race bet. Says no surprise. She's the controlling speed. We'll see if Drazaru can put pressure on her. If not, she'll be in front. I don't agree with the traffic comment last time. Yeah, she was in traffic, but sometimes you're in traffic and it makes no difference. So I don't know exactly why it's in there. But regardless, she still ran against much better horses. She's stake-faced. She's the controlling speed from the inside, trying to beat her, but not strongly against.
More on the 5th. Coming up starts the late pick 4. We're going to take a timeout. We'll look ahead to some more weekend action, not just the Withers on this weekend card. The Toboggan and Coastal Mission, 14-time winner, the Millionaire, proved he could get it done in the graded stakes here back in October on this circuit. Can he add another one this weekend? Stay with us.
Five, all the bidding at 875 down or down 900 and 900,000.
Elite Power does it again in the Breeders' Cup Sprint in 108.34.
The power of Juddmonte.
Rodney is widening the margin now. It's going to be Rodney to win the Affirmed Success.
Eclipse champion Run Happy, price for value, and standing strong at Claiborne Farm.
Feet on the outside, second by 2.5. Vinny the Viper is still in third. They approach the 8th hole. Pine Cutter still leads by a length. Fleet still in second by 2. Vinny the Viper is still in third. A Fleet moves alongside Pine Cutter there at the 16th pole. A Fleet gets the lead. Pine Cutter now second, and Vinny the Viper is third as they race to the wire. It's A Fleet in front.
1988 Toboggan, Canadian Horse of the Year. He'd won the Jerome and Pennsylvania Derby back as a 3-year-old, including a plate trial. Hit the board in the Queen's Plate that year and had a lot of big runner-up finishes.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite horses. You know, he had a remarkable 3-year-old year. He was second at the Queen's Plate, but he came to New York and won the Jerome. From there, he won the Pennsylvania Derby. Then he lost by a nose to Giant Killer Creme Fraiche, who a lot of people remember going back to Woody Stevens. They tried in the Breeders' Cup after that, and he lost to Creme Fraiche in the Meadowlands Cup in a 1.25 miles. Lost the Breeders' Cup, but he came back as a 3-year-old. That was his return rate. 4-year-old, loved him, and he was star-crossed running into Gulch. He was second to Gulch in the Carter. He was second to him in the Met Mile. After the Met Mile, he didn't run against the Breeders' Cup Sprint, whereas jockey Gary Stahlbaum, who in my opinion might have prevented him from some other big wins, had him dead last top of the stretch in the sprint, and while Gulch won, he finished third in what's really kind of a remarkable performance, one of my all-time favorite horses.
Well, Toboggan coming up this weekend. It's race 6 on a card that includes the Withers, 7 furlongs, $175,000 purse, 4-year-olds and up. Talked about Coastal Mission going to break, and Coastal Mission with a big moment here in New York in October in that Grade 3 49er victory.
And I know that there are 3-year-old prep races this day, but this is the best race of the day. This is a really, really good race and deserving really of being graded in here. Coastal Mission, who won the 49er at Grade 3 and did it impressively. He didn't embarrass himself running against better horses like Locked. You know, he's behind Locked and Milliken in post time in a subsequent race. He's a really neat horse in here, and I think he's a big time player. He ran down a long shot Nelson Avenue, who will be the speed along with Maximus Meridius in this race as he tries to once again show that he can compete with the biggest boys. He comes off a superhuman effort or super equine effort in the mud at Parks.
Speaking of Maximus Meridius, and speaking of a trainer who always comes with his top efforts here, Gravesend, Maximus Meridius.
But show Full Moon Madness at the start, because breaks a little slow, which you'll see again, and gets badly bounced around. And you'll see that pan, he broke about 1/2 to 3/4 of a length slow. I thought he ran the best race in here, taking nothing away from Maximus Meridius, who ran very well to win. But Full Moon Madness with a clean break probably gets it done, always sort of fighting that position behind horses. He ran well. He's improved a lot for Michelle Nevin. And he's a player, as is Running Son of a Gun. Nice to have all of these horses back. They're really hard-knocking good horses.
Yeah, Castle Chaos, I'm a big fan too.
I think he's very interesting in
here.
We'll
get to him in a minute, but yeah, this race, these top 3 all coming back. 7 furlongs, a question at all, you think, for Full Moon Madness?
I guess we'll find out. He hasn't run particularly well at it, but isn't he just a much better horse now? I mean, you're right. Yeah. He's never run well at it, but I think...
But no, you're right.
If you're Michelle Nevin, you want to find out, is it the 7 furlongs, or is it just he's a better horse now? We'll find out.
Next door, for Rob Falcone Jr., Manny Franco, and 7-year-old debut of Castle Chaos. He seemed like for a while he was just on the cusp of having a big breakthrough in some really good races. Just hasn't happened.
And it fell apart in Saratoga. Not like being in Saratoga. Was he tailing off? Will we ever see his best again? I don't know. And while it was a small field in the Carter, Post Time won this race, and Post Time demonstrated throughout the year that he was really one of the better horses in the country. I felt really badly that he wasn't a finalist for the older handicap horse, because he's what it's all about. I mean, he shipped all over the place. Yeah. He was third in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and in last year's flawed year, he was one horse that was running in all the big races, a 2nd or 3rd place finish, I think a 3rd in the Whitney. He just showed up long distance, short distance, and he was a closer that could close into a slow pace. And I think for Castle Chaos to be just beaten by him is a feather in his cap.
Yeah, Castle Chaos again, Rob Falcone Jr. A couple of times he's won on this circuit. I'm with you. That is a great race we have coming up. That's race 6. Going to kick off the late pick 4 on that Saturday card. Take a look at the stakes schedule, and we'll talk about that other stakes race, which will be the first of those 3 on the Weekend of the Ruthless a little bit later on.
Yeah, and we'll see. You know, I mean, it's fun to have the stakes. It's fun to be getting closer and have a little bit of Triple Crown fever. A lot of good racing coming up on Saturday. Hope you join us.
Back to our Thursday card, this 5th race, 6 furlongs. Starter optional claiming field, 6 furlong sprint coming up, and that is Central Casting. New barn taking over. Jamie Ness with more. Let's go to Maggie.
We'll start with that current favorite for Jamie Ness as Central Casting. I haven't seen her since her start 2 back and putting the blinkers on, but we saw her deliver with a maiden breaking score on the front end last time out. Now, it does appear that there are several horses that could find themselves on the lead here, but at least as far as observations in the paddock go, Central Casting is by far the sharpest. She came in with a purpose, marching around, tugging at her groom. In fact, she's nearly running up on the heels of the horse in front of her here in the paddock. She just looks as though she has run on her mind, and sometimes when that proverbial light bulb goes on, then you do see horses improve and kind of be able to rattle off those wins. As far as conditioning goes, she looks great here, really well muscled, and she's built like a horse that should have speed. She's really built downhill, and just there's big hindquarters to her. Now on paper she's not the fastest, but we'll see if her demeanor and her current disposition have anything to do with how she runs on the track today. Moving on to another horse coming in from Parks is number 6, Del Rey. I thought she was incredibly game last time out. She was pushed to get to the lead. She was kind of hounded some of the way there, and then the horse that came up to her, she right to her outside, she out-battled to secure second. It was a horse on her far outside that picked them all up. So really showing some tenacity and battling there here in the paddock. She is a little bit of a smaller filly, but well composed, great coat to her, very healthy. So all things good, and I just like the effort that she comes in off of here, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. We'll get to the post parade coming up in a moment. So there's D's a Rock, Christopher Elliott, another big chance here.
This horse is clearly the horse to beat. It's the inside speed, and this is the debut, and the horse ran very well and ran well in subsequent race against better horses. Is in a position to try to lead these in a merry chase. While I picked her second, I mean, I think she's going to be 6-5, and I think she's way the horse to beat. But it's not a horse I want to bet my money on. I have a little bit of an idea with the 5 Double Arrow.
Quick has the rail, has to go from that inside post, probably the fastest anyway, and the fact that won against state-bred maiden 41st time out, but then hung around in a race that had with the Angels. It's been so impressive for Linda Rice in start number 2. It's that race really that is, you think, making this horse the one to beat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with this horse of any race this horse has ever run. Saying this horse is the horse to beat is the controlling speed down the inside. We'll see if the 2 can keep up with this horse as the pace projector suggests. If the 2 gets in her way, she could be in trouble. The oddest thing I noticed is number 4 is Central Casting, but Central Casting was previously owned by the 2 listed owners and trainer Rudy Rodriguez, who trained this horse. Now Rudy is no longer listed as an owner, and the horse has been moved to Jamie Ness. This is not something, it's just an unusual thing. I obviously have no idea why something like that happens, but it does feel as though the owners they clearly seem to have bought Rudy out of the horse and moved the horse. So somewhere there must have been a disagreement somewhere. Doesn't make Rudy wrong. Maybe Rudy, didn't think the horse was as good. The owner thought they were better, and they just thought a good move be to part ways. Doesn't make one right and the other one necessarily wrong. We'll see what happens.
Or maybe it's a Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat situation.
Is he involved with this one too?
He is not, but he's on his way out.
Has he ever been on a team that he's a great player, but he's ever been on a team that he wasn't a problem at some point?
Not happy
that
a
would
lot,
be
I don't think.
Great player, though.
Yes, he is.
I'm a fan, but Pat Riley, I'm a big Pat Riley fan, too, and Pat doesn't put up with any of that nonsense.
No, he does not.
That's why he's Pat Riley, and you're not.
So,
and I'm not.
Central Casting, we'll see. Moving to the new barn. Can he go back-to-back? As we 9-5 favorite right now, too. Meanwhile, there is a horse next door that, depending on what figures you look at, and here he is, has run the fastest figure.
I'm having a bad effect on you.
But it came on a wet track of anyone in the field.
Then again, you could say never been on a dry track.
Right.
Maybe once dry. I picked the 5 Double Arrow partly because the race 2 back is good enough to be competitive here. And I know the horse has a race somewhere, wet track or not, that's fast enough to compete. For a trainer in Robbie Bales who years back, and I'm sure some remember it, he used to ship here with some regularity and do very well. He stopped doing that. He ran a few, they didn't win, and he stopped barely saw him shipping horses in. He shipped a horse earlier in this meet here at Aqueduct, somewhere where it was late 24, 25, and the horse ran second, won a race, big price, and I thought maybe he's live.
And that's who's going to ride her, Eric Cancel, in those blue and yellow silks. And, yeah, she's sort of the X factor of this race.
Should be stalking.
First time on a dry, fast track. There she is. Dangerous.
Why is she a bigger price on the board right now than Brooklyn Rhapsody? That seems kind of puzzling. And you like the 6 Delray. I didn't like Delray. I feel like I obviously missed something. What's interesting is I think that it's easy to have the impression this horse would be forwardly placed, the 6 Delray. The Timeform pace projector has this horse much farther back. I'm going to be curious to see if the pace projector's right or if, in fact, the running lines are right. We'll see.
Yeah, they had her, what, 5th?
They have her 5th out of 6.
It seems hard to believe. But I like that outside post. She could sit, she could stalk, and she did dig in, too, when Viamente came to her last time out and kind of did outfinish that one, even though she got beat by another horse in the end. Here's Dee's a Rock, who should be favored by post time.
Yeah, she is oddly sort of an overlay right now, and they're betting on the 4. Is it a bad sign, or will she drop down?
Biggest number on the board, Rozzy Rue, winner first time out.
She found the right 4-horse field first time out.
Brooklyn Rhapsody, Ralph D'Alessandro, Manny Franco.
Comes off a win at Parks back when New York breds, but the races in New York are too slow, and most of them are too slow.
3-time winner, but yeah, against soft company. Here's the 4, moving to Jamie Ness.
Yeah, this is a Jamie Ness trainer change. The trainer change with Jamie Ness, particularly at Naira, with routers are great. The numbers with sprinters, not very good.
7-1, not a bad gamble to take on a first time on a fast track for this one.
Made my case for this one, and I bet.
And Delray just missed by a nose after a dominant maiden win at Parks.
Yeah, you like this one better than I. You can talk more about her. I didn't know if she was good enough.
Yeah, it looked like, as we were talking about it earlier before we came on the show, I don't know if she hit the rail, but ducked away, swerved from it, coming out of the turn last start, and still dug in, was very game late in the stretch. Get the inside track on handicapping with Naira Betts Track Stats. Want to know how many winners are closing from the back at Aqueduct? Track Stats has the answer. For more stats on tracks across the country, visit NairaBets.com. So there's Dee's a Rock. We expect Maggie to see speed from the get-go with Christopher Elliott as he tries to go back-to-back.
Yeah, kind of typical of that Bustin' Stones bloodline in that they typically have speed, but they're also typically not horses that are that appealing when looking at them pre-race. They tend to be smaller. They tend to be somewhat unassuming. Now, she is very quiet today. I've seen her be just a little bit more aggressive in her pre-race disposition. So we'll see. She's under the gun from that inside post, as Greg was just mentioning, but she definitely has the fastest races and has faced the toughest company of any of these in here. I'm just not fully on board in trusting her just because I haven't ever necessarily been her biggest fan when it comes to looking at her prior to a start. Moving on to the horse Andy's interested in, and I get it, with number 5, Double Arrow. You know, she was part of a 4-horse pace battle early, then she was too wide on the outside. She put away all the other rivals, and the winner just got the setup in her last start when she was 3-5. Blew out a field in that maiden 30. The start before that, she's striding out beautifully in the paddock and out on the racetrack. Now, the front wraps do go on, but we often see, I think, it's less of it nowadays, but the old adage, I remember when I first came here to Aqueduct, and especially during the winter, that it was a racetrack where horses would tend to run down, and meaning run down is when they have that abrasion on their fetlock joints, because the dirt can be just tough on them, especially during the winter when you're trying to prevent it from freezing. So I'm wondering if Robbie kind of thought that about the track, and that's why those front wraps go on. I don't know. Pure speculation on that front, but like I said, she's moving beautifully, and she just looks the part and fits really nicely with these. So a generous 7-1 right now, Greg.
It's down at, I actually went to visit Payson Park on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of our friends, including Wesley Ward. And Wesley was working Nakatomi, and he was talking about how praising the track at Payson. And then he said to me, but a track I really love is the Aqueduct track. I really think the Aqueduct track is a tremendous surface, and appreciated him praising it. And of course, Glenn Kozak is our track super, also supervised in the surface down at Payson as well when Peter Brandt bought it. So Glenn has a hand in all of those things.
One of the absolute best there is.
Maybe the best ever.
8-5 favorite has become this speedster from the Rail, Diesel Rock. We'll see if Christopher Elliott can go back-to-back here. Riding for trainer Chad Summers, a winner in the debut against State-bred Maiden Claiming Company, and then impressive enough that Barn said, let's try Stakes Company the next couple of tries.
Well, I mean, their healthy purse is $500,000 last time, and it's not like the horse showed that she didn't belong. She just wasn't quite good enough.
See if anyone can apply pressure. She's quick from that inside post. That's still an enticing price on the board to the one you like in here, Double Arrow. That big performance on that muddy sealed track at Laurel, gets a fast dirt surface for the first time in her career. Coming up, what will she do with it? And then Del Rey on the outside, 3-1 right now with Jose Lezcano. We are set for the 5th and the start of the pick 4. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Double Arrow. Del Rey. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed from Double Arrow has company towards the inside from D's a Rock, and now D's a Rock with a neck in front. Double Arrow wants to be up close, and in between horses there comes Rozzy Rue, is going to be right there in 4th, is well settled in behind this leading trio, as Del Rey is going to be 3 wide at the rail. D's a Rock in between horses, Double Arrow, and that 3 wide run from Del Rey is now 3rd. At the rail in 4th is Rozzy Rue. Moving forward with Central Casting, is now in 5th, is trying to get out here into the turn, 22-3 for a pressured opening quarter mile. The trailer is Brooklyn Rhapsody, pretty tightly bunched as they're chasing D's a Rock. D's a Rock with a nose in front, but here comes Double Arrow and Eric Cancel ready to challenge. Rozzy Rue is in behind them. Out wide there is Del Rey. Central Casting is trying to launch a run here, 4 wide as they reach the top of the stretch. The trailer still Brooklyn Rhapsody, and now Del Rey has taken the lead, and Del Rey is kicking away. Down the center of the racetrack, Central Casting is in full pursuit, but Del Rey is now striding 2.5 lengths in front. The one with a shot is Central Casting from far out of it, but still Del Rey is opening up with every stride, and inside the final 16th, Jose Lezcano picks up another one, and Del Rey, that's your winner. Del Rey wins it over Central Casting, D's a Rock, and Double Arrow in 1 minute 11.51 seconds.
Del Rey, comfortable tracking position, sitting in 3rd. I saw Jose Lezcano sitting out there wide, adjusting the goggles. When I saw that, it seemed like, yeah, he felt like he was awfully comfortable on this filly.
Yeah, you like this horse, Greg. I did not. And it's had a very good trip, and we both were right that the pace projector on this horse way too far back. But he just cruised in here, good trip or not. And obviously benefited from the 4 blowing the race, but he won so easily. I don't think the 4 was beating him, and that was a bad performance by D's a Rock. I know he was under the gun on the inside, but he had absolutely nothing here. And the 5 who had packed it in around the turn came back and almost beat him for 3rd. But a decisive win by this horse. 6 and 4 were clearly the best 2.
7-2 in the end here, 111-2 final time for Del Rey, who's a nose away from making it 3 straight.
Yeah, no, he's in big form coming in here. It's an easy win for him. First time Lasix as well.
So an upset here in race 5 to start this pick 4. Jose Lezcano on board for this victory for this 3-year-old filly by Munnings, who, yeah, has really been in sharp form of late and able to, after trying to go gate to wire last time out, sit off the pace, stalk, and then just pull away late for the victory.
And in fairness, the 4, and I'm not insinuating that she would have won because I don't think she would have, but she did completely blow the break. But she also got some pace to run in and was ultimately 2nd best.
No, it was an impressive performance, that finish.
Yeah, no, the horse was good.
6-4, 1-5, 7-2 on your winner, Del Rey. 2 wins now the last 3 starts with a nose runner-up finish, the only defeat in that span. We'll have the prices. Move on to race 6 when we come back.
Welcome back to the program. You are watching America's Day at the Races here at the Big A, where Del Rey, she crushed them, and I'm pleased to be joined by winning trainer Tyler Service. And Tyler, a little bit of a heartbreaker last time where she had to be on the inside. Today, she drew outside. How important was that?
I think that helped her a ton, but the biggest thing with the last race, with the bad weather, we missed quite a bit of training at Parks. So I think I brought her up here maybe just a tad short, and we got the trainer right into this race consistently. So I think that was ultimately the deciding factor.
And too, you know, with young fillies, they're always changing. And this performance, she really strode away from this field late.
Yeah, I think shortening her back up too, because I ran her 7/8 at Laurel, and she kind of hung a little bit late, got the leader at the turn and hung a little bit. And last race, I did think we were a little short, but I did think she also hung a little bit as well. So I think shortening her up helped her a ton.
It's kind of ironic. We showed a feature on Christopher Elliott and Stuart Elliott. You're the son of the trainer of the great Smarty Jones. Talk a little bit about learning from your dad, John, in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he taught me everything. Wouldn't be here without him, and all the guidance that he gave me along the way. Always told me put the horses first, so that's the main thing we run off of, and get a couple decent horses in their barn and try to build off that.
Unlike Christopher, were you born when Smarty was running?
Yes. I was actually 14, so didn't make it to the Preakness because I was on bad behavior. I got grounded, so missed out on that one. But
I was there. Love it. Well, it was it's so fun to remember him. I think everybody has great Smarty stories, but congratulations here with Del Rey.
Thanks, Maggie. Appreciate it.
All right, Tyler Service with a big win with a filly that looks to be heading in the right direction, Greg.
Maggie better been there. She was, I believe, the returning champion Miss Preakness.
I
feel
would
like
hope
2003 may have been her year.
Hand over the crown. Yeah, Del Rey's very sharp right now, Maggie. Again, 2 wins and a nose defeat the last 3 starts. And as you go through these conditions, it just gets tougher and tougher.
Well, she got a good trip or not. She won like a good thing and was clearly best in this field. Nice performance by her.
2 legs in, long way to go, but an upset here. That's 7-2 with Del Rey.
Yep. See what happens as we progress. 3 races left. The races do get a little more competitive, particularly the 7th and 8th. There is a strong favorite in here that you and I are not. I pick second, you put on top, in Elliptic that neither one of us is against.
7 furlongs coming up. New York Breds, $25,000 maiden claiming event. Yeah, Elliptic, Bill Morey barn, Kendrick Harmouche, and slow pace last time out. She kind of found herself having to battle on the front end, head and head with a 6-5 favorite, Malou. Seems like she's more comfortable coming from off it.
Probably. I still thought the last race was a bit of a negative, kind of a little bit of a step in the wrong direction, but still, I don't disagree. She's the one to beat. I'm going to take a small shot with the 2 Carapara, who's second off a layoff and has back races that are good enough to compete, and she's a big price. So I'm betting her to win and playing a little 4-2.
Third of 3 stakes on the Saturday card. It's in race 3 to kick things off. 1:42 Eastern start time for the Ruthless at 7 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies. And compact field. We'll start things off. And Moonlit Drive, Manny Franco. Debut performance. You're not going to get 17-1 on Saturday.
I don't know. I heard the multiple people, they loved the horse before the first race, but apparently they didn't bet an enormous amount. But she was very good. I thought that was a day the rail was an edge in there, and she circled the field to get up and run down a good thing and taste the diamonds that day. I thought it was an impressive performance. And with the general lack of speed in this race, I think you're going to see her be very forward for Manny Franco, and I like her chances quite a bit here.
I liked her that day.
Did you get rich? If you liked her, you didn't get rich, Greg. To the pick 5?
Missed the pick 5. Thank you for bringing it up.
Well, I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. I was just following up, hoping that you won a lot of money.
So, wow, it's a little tough to make her 6-5
I'm
off
surprised
that,
she's 6-5 morning line, but David's usually right. So.
Hollywood Beauty, meanwhile, coming off a stakes victory, dominant one at Parks on a sloppy seal track.
The problem is, where did this race come from? Was it the slop that moved her up? Because she had never run within hailing distance of that effort. And I don't care what figures you're looking at. She just completely improved. Is it the trainer switch to Maria Montoya? I don't know. But this horse ran last time. I kind of want to see it again. That's why I prefer the 4-1.
Won the debut at Parks and then was sort of thrown to the wolves. Stakes races every single start since for this filly. So at least battle tested.
I guess. I want to see again. But her last race was good.
Meanwhile, the rail to Win and You're In, who will be adding blinkers on Saturday. 3-time winner coming out of the Gasparilla at Tampa.
They have a kind of a gutsy name, Win and You're In. She was bad in this race. I know she ran second, and I think we're watching her win, I guess.
3 back, yeah.
3 back, and this race I probably sent in. She ran well in this race, but I don't like that her form is declining and her figure has been declining. Last time out, she's had an absolutely perfect trip with Lynch Milky Way. It was off a maiden claiming win, set a blistering pace and ran off. She made a run to her like she was going by and couldn't even get close to that one in the stretch, with the winner coming from well back to get the money. I don't love her recent form. She seemed to be declining, and I think some of her better race behind her, but she could be the main speed in this race.
She'll add blinkers. Again, 7 furlongs in that $125,000 Ruthless. First of 3 stakes on our Saturday coverage. Hope you join us this weekend. We look forward to it as they get all the attention, that Derby prep. But as you said, probably the race of the day going to be that toboggan loaded with talent. There's the one to beat coming up. This is Elliptic, 3-2 favorite. Kendrick Carmouche, Bill Morey Barn, a 4-time winner, 3 of them coming here in South Ozone Park. And that's the man who will ride Kendrick. A lot of reasons to be smiling here at the Big A. We'll have that for you next.
Game Winner first ran a very, very impressive maiden race at Del Mar. Came back in the Del Mar Futurity.
Gaming, a first crop colt, following in his sire's footsteps, winning the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity.
And then just continued that unbelievable 2-year-old year, went on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and then was crowned 2-year-old champion. A very exciting combination of pedigree and race record.
Game Winner, continuing the legacy of Candy Ride.
Hall of Fame trainer Steve Asmussen said, Gun Pilot is an absolute beast. He has a lot of gun runners' great traits. He is a bigger and stronger version and was extremely talented. His easy Grade 1 win in the 7-furlong Churchill Downs Stakes proved everything I knew.
The gold, but it's Gun Pilot. Gun Pilot and Christian Torres.
Gun Pilot is Gun Runner's only son to retire to stud this year. New to 3 Chimneys.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
My favorite race is Cigar Mile 2020 True Timber. I know how much my horse loves the sloppy track. I got outside position, you got speed horses, and you the horse that can sit right behind them. Jack Stinson, he texted me that morning, Kendrick, what do you think? I said, don't worry about it, brother, I got you. My horse break good. I want to send him a little bit so I can let him relax a little bit going down the chute. Down the backside, I wasn't worried about the kickback. Even within the 16th of a mile at the gate, a couple of dirt hit him, he didn't even mind. He just shake his head and he just kept running through it. At the 3/8 pole, I asked him and he moved up so sweet. I mean, he was right in my hand the whole time. And once I got to the quarter pole, I just pulled the trigger. You know, I figured if I pull the trigger, it's gonna be hard to beat me from here to make up the ground on a sealed racetrack. When I got to the 8 pole and I started asking him, I mean, you can feel the horse responding.
True Timber is gonna pull off the upset here in the Grade 1 Cigar Mile.
For my mom, my dad, and my wife and my kids, I know how much it meant for them just as much as it meant for me, you know. The fist pump at the wire explains it all. And I'm saying to myself, man, I think this is a grade 1.
Was this a grade 1? Oh, this is my first grade 1. Oh, we got out grade 1, baby.
Coming from Louisiana to win one of these races, the Cigar Mile and the African American Jockey, for myself, for my family, for the people that's out there that's seeing this and never thought it could be done. It can be done if you work hard.
He's an incredibly easy guy to root for, always smiling, positive energy, and he'll be on the favorite here, 7-5. Kendrick Carmouche will ride Elliptic, who he has gotten to know pretty well of late.
And trainer Bill Morey looking for his second win today as well.
3 wins in a row since Kendrick hopped aboard, and that streak unfortunately came to an end last time out. But he's at his best. He's very dangerous in here, and he's the one to beat.
You know, he's in and against a horse. I was going to say he's in much that's tougher last time, but he's in against a horse that beat him, Gone and Forgotten. Though Gone and Forgotten got a very, very good trip, and I think there's something to be said for how the race wasn't run in a great manner for her. But there isn't a lot of speed in this race either. Though, I don't know, do you like Maggie T or Mosienko as one of the 2 speeds? I don't. I think she's the horse to beat. I have a little thing for Carapara, but nothing against Elliptic, even though I don't love her last race.
So there she is, Elliptic. Yeah, 3 wins in a row. Beat last time out when she found herself part of a very slow pace on the front end. See what happens this afternoon in a race where it looks like, yeah, there is at least a little more pace than last time.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Let's go to Maggie for more on the favorite.
Yeah, checking in with Elliptic here, a filly that has been in great form as of now. I should say mare, excuse me. Another year older for these thoroughbreds, as she's now 5. But yeah, we'll see how much pace she encounters today, as you guys were talking about. When we saw her, go to the lead last time going the mile, she just came up empty. So I would think shortening up, obviously employing different tactics today. She looks great here. I have no problems with her whatsoever in the paddock. Like I said, it's reflective of her form and that she's kind of held, good form. So therefore she looks good enough here in the paddock as the favorite. But the horse that really caught my eye is on the outside with number 6, My First Love, who does go first off the claim for Rob Atras, and she's been fairly popular in the claim box as of late. She's yet to get back to some of her best form that she had way back when, but she does exit a race in which Maggie T does come out of too, but Maggie T has that poor race in between this start and the one on December 14th. But there are 3 next time out winners, including La Banquero, who I do think was flattered by a racetrack that was tilted towards speed, but did earn a 90 buyer. Maybe that should be under review. But anyway, it's still there with My First Love finishing 3rd that day. She kind of lacked a little bit of a closing gear, but she looks sensational here in the paddock. I have not seen a horse today, obviously it's middle of winter, that looks as good in their coat as what My First Love does. She's dappled, she's shiny, she's healthy. She's just one of the best times I've ever seen her appear before a race, and ample time being in Rob's barn from that claim back in mid-December. So I'm leaning towards My First Love, Craig.
8 minutes away from the 6. Maggie, thank you. 3-1. On this 6, My First Love, who has been very popular in the claim boxes. We go back to the one you like here, the rail for Carapara.
All right, my story on Carapara is that she has back races that are good enough to compete with these. She was coming off a layoff of 9 months last time out, and she didn't run very well, but she was 23-1 against a tougher field. She did not run well. She'll have to run better, but she could have needed that race off the layoff, and she's a big price for a horse that's got back races that give her a chance to be competitive here. So that's enough for me. I don't understand where all the money is for the number 6. Maybe she'll probably move up in odds. Is it all the claim for Rob Atras? It's not like he's had sensational numbers. He's been doing okay lately. But last time Rob Atras had this filly or mare, she was running for $12,500. I'm not sure why she's taking so much money, but it's early.
So let's look back. Most recent effort, My First Love. Maggie T won this race. My First Love, a distant 3rd, made a middle move in there and then weakened late.
But, I mean, Maggie T easily beat her, and Maggie T is currently 5-1. Now, I'm not saying I think Maggie T is an underlay or anything, but I'm not sure, other than the claim by Rob Atras, why she's supposed to be moved forward. But Rob had this horse, and she was running in bottom-level claiming races. So I don't see the appeal of her. I'm surprised she's getting bet. And she is actually the third choice, though a distant third choice, looking at multi-race bets.
There's Maggie T. Rudy Rodriguez, second off the claim. Has dangerous speed in here.
She is speed, though I think Mozienko's supposed to run with her the 1A, yeah. And I'm not going for an entry, that's for sure. I'm not up for the 2 for the price of 1. It's a bad value, and it's a misconception that anybody thinks that horse players, serious horse players, want entries. We don't. We want to be able to bet the horse that we like. If we lose, we can live with it. We're used to losing. We just want to get the odds that we think we deserve on the horse we're betting, and not carry another horse as the entry goes from 5-2 to 9-5 to further that point.
So post-parade coming up in a moment, and just in terms, too, of Elliptic and who she's been facing. And I know she got beat by Gone and Forgotten last time out, who's in this field as well, part of that entry. But outside of that, a little bit tougher company than most in here?
Yeah, no, they've been running. Listen, both of them are dropping. They've been running in $45,000 claiming races. Now, Gone and Forgotten was a distant 6th when she was behind Maggie T and First Love in that race we showed. She got a good trip to win off the claim, and she did not run back well last time. But she was coming back in 15 days, but now she's coming back in 13 days. Why is she supposed to bounce back? I would prefer Mozienko of the entry, and I don't think you disagree, Greg, but I don't want her at a short price. I mean, maybe at 5 or 6 to 1 I could play her, but not at 9-5 or 2 to 1.
Meanwhile, there's Ruben Silvera. He will hop aboard. Maggie T, one of the speeds, 11 times, 23 career starts for this mare. She's been first or second.
And Ruben Silvera very rarely rates a speed horse, so with a clean break, she's supposed to be in front in here. We'll see if that's good enough.
There's Kendrick. Carmouche on the 4, the favorite. Elliptic, 3-2. No question, the 1 to beat. 3 for 5 here at Aqueduct. As we begin our post-parade with the first part of the entry, they're right next door to each other in the gate post 4 for Gone Forgotten.
She did run well enough with a good trip to beat these 2 back, but did not run well at all last time. The short rest bothers me a little.
Stablemate is going to be the one who's forward. Mozienko we'll see next, the 1A.
Yeah, I prefer her, but I really feel like since she was claimed away from Dennis Laumann, who claimed her for $10,000 and won $400,000, she's really lost her good form.
The rail to the one you like here, Carapara.
I'm just hoping that, listen, she doesn't have any speed. I don't know how quick the pace is going to be, so she'll need a little help. If she gets it, she has races that are good enough.
Maggie T, here she is, 9-2, Ruben Silvera.
Speed of the speed, if that's what you want. Seems like a fair track so far.
4-time winner at Aqueduct. Next door, 8-5, Elliptic, Kendrick Carmouche.
If she can find the form from 2 and 4 back, she's going to beat these horses. And even last time in 2, 3 back, they're good enough to make her very contentious, if not the best horse.
And then My First Love outside, 9-2, as you mentioned, was with this barn before, but one for a lot easier company.
Do you remember your first love? It was Laura.
I'm with her.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I forgot. Your life was a desert before Laura showed up.
It was. I was lost.
You're a very lucky guy. She's a wonderful person. I don't know what she's doing with you, but she seems to. She's really terrific.
3 minutes away, thank you, from race 6 coming up. You can play this race by getting signed up right there. She likes summers in Saratoga.
I like seeing her.
Deposit
That's why
match.
I pretend to like seeing you at night, because I get to see Laura.
Bonus 200 code to use at sign up to play along, and right there. Play with us all Derby prep season long and beyond. NowRBets.com and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. So back to this entry, Gone and Forgotten. How do you, with just the win 2 back, what needs to happen again for her to cross the wire first?
No, the rider of the 3rd finish has to have the best horse and give a bad ride. The rider of the 2nd horse has to rate a loose speed horse and let all the other horses in the race. And she's got to show up with an effort that doesn't really show up for a long time since Rick Dutrow was claiming her back in the summer. So if all those things happen, she can win. I think this entry, though, at this price is just a terrible example of value. I have no problem with somebody who likes Mozienko. I don't particularly like her, but of the entry, I prefer that one. But it's just I think both of them are taking money here, and I don't want that.
Meanwhile, let's go to Maggie, 6-5 on Elliptic, who's going to try and get back in the win column after that 3-race win streak came to an end.
Yeah, snapped last time, but per usual, warming up beautifully on the racetrack, Greg. So Elliptic, looking the part here. upgraded her once watching the warm-ups commence as opposed to down in the paddock. But let's check in with the horse who is, as Andy said, likely to be the speed of the speed, and she's acting that way as she has been very sharp, very forward throughout the preliminaries here. Maggie T, that is number 3. I thought last time she kind of looked as though she had lightened up just a bit, and I still think that again here today. Generous 5-1 if she can get back to some of her better form, but I don't know. I don't love her last race. At least she's back on a fast track with some moisture in it last time. But again, I'm going to land on the horse on the outside. Could not get over how well My First Love appeared, but does have to get around your favorite, who really I have no problems with, Greg.
So 9-2 for Maggie with the 6.
Well, we're both trying to beat the 4, but I don't think either one of us feel we're on super strong ground. It's if you. You can judge my picks however you want to judge them, whatever makes you happy, but picking or second certainly doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just an indication that often second place are often big priced horses that I don't think are top choice kind of horses to make, or a favorite that's the horse to beat, but I have some reservations. And I have some reservations with Elliptic after her last race, that she could be a horse that's heading back into lesser good races, but she is the horse to beat, and to deny it, to me, is silly.
So 6-5 Elliptic.
And I have a little idea to bet the 2, and I bet the 2 in here. So,
and look, I mean, on the board, everyone has a chance in here. 7-1's the biggest price, and that's who you like. And, and there she is, Carapara.
Yep. Right. There's no outliers here.
Every right to certainly no way she can't really improve off that last start, but she needed that race coming back.
Yeah. Now, listen, maybe she's just not any good anymore. She is a 5-year-old. Maybe she just doesn't run well anymore, but I'll give her one more chance to see if she can get back to those races.
Now 8-1. As we say that, Maggie T next door, expected to be part of the pace. Who will get to the front? This 3, Maggie T is very quick, or the 1A Mozienko. Elliptic, hoping with Kendrick Carmouche probably to sit off those 2, track, and then pounce down the stretch. 3 for 5 here at Aqueduct for the 6-5 favorite. There is Kendrick in those black and yellow silks waiting to load. Set for race 6. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Elliptic steps forward. Gone and Forgotten. Mozienko. My First Love. Goes in. All set. And they're off. My First Love has speed towards the outside and also Gone and Forgotten in between horses. Here comes the gray and Maggie T, Ruben Silvera. And now Maggie T, they put ahead in front. In between horses is going to be Mozienko is back to 3rd, is moving forward. That's My First Love. Getting shuffled back was Gone and Forgotten, is now back to 4th. To the outside, it's Elliptic and the trailer, Carapara. They work out the backstretch and they're chasing Maggie T. Maggie T's got the rail and went 23.73 for that opening quarter mile with mild pressure to the outside from My First Love. Mozienko watching the action from 3rd, starts to move in closer toward the inside here. My First Love is now about to challenge for 2nd, and here comes the run from Elliptic, and Elliptic is passing rivals, is taken 4th, is going to be wide, but Maggie T is still in front. Mozienko finds a nice lane there. In the 2-path is chasing. 3 wide there is My First Love. Elliptic trying to pick it up. Also all in is Carapara, and dropping back to the back end of the field was Gone and Forgotten to be the trailer. 46-4 for that half-mile time, and here comes the run from Mozienko. Mozienko has put a nose in front. Maggie T continues to battle on towards the inside, will not relent easy, and here comes down the center of the racetrack in My First Love. Elliptic is trying to catch the new leader in Mozienko. Mozienko is up by a length and a half inside the final furlong. Here comes My First Love, who's going to lunge late. Mozienko has a final 16th to get, is looking for the line. My First Love continues to come after Mozienko. Mozienko almost there. Mozienko wins it. Mozienko over My First Love. Then came Elliptic and Carapara in 1 minute 26 seconds flat.
Mozienko with the win and showing a little grit here down the stretch, holding off the runner-up.
Sure went well to get this done. The favorite had absolutely nothing. Didn't show a lot of speed, moved up on the outside, but you could tell Elliptic was never going to win this race. But Mozienko was always in the bit and ran very, very well. 2-to-1's a terrible price because of the entry, but Mozienko does get it done. And My First Love, who really got bet here, even dropped down to 7-2. They knew she'd run today, and she did. Elliptic, that's the thing about horses that run subpar races. Often it's an indication they're declining in form, and Elliptic clearly declined in form.
1A, 6, 4, 2. Went off at even money in the end. Elliptic was claimed, by the way, out of this race as well. Mozienko, though, an 11-time winner coming in. 8-year-old mare. Still got more in the tank here. Gets number 12.
Yes, she does. I always had a thing for her. She got it done today.
And
this is horrible value if you like it. Horrible, horrible value.
Up and over $700,000 in earnings in her career.
Most of them for Dennis Lauman, who claimed her for $10,000. I think he won over $400,000 with her. And then got her claimed for $62,500 years later. So that's how you make money in the claiming game. That's why Dennis doesn't claim many, but when he does, you have to take notice. But this one's for the Cantermachis, and congrats to okay.
Yeah, continuing to do well.
Yep.
Taking over for his brother.
We hope that Matt comes back soon. He had said he would be back, and so hopefully we'll see him soon.
So Mozienko with the victory here. 1A, 6, 4, 2. Here in race 6. And not a huge upset, but an even money favorite beat. Couple of upsets now, later part of this card. That man right there, continuing to roll along. Another big 2024 here in New York for Manny Franco. His story when we come back.
And clear off at the Naira Betts Haskell.
In the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
Dornock setting up moderate pace.
Welcome back to the program. It's America's Day at the Races, and we are proudly brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, Anytime. As Masienko, part of the entry for Ilkay Kantamasi, who joins me now, guts out the win. An 8-year-old Ilkay, she showed the true heart of a racehorse today.
Yeah, when you go look at her big performances, she was a really good horse. She did so good. So lately she wasn't doing like any good. Like she was always getting there, but I think the up class helped her a lot, and Sylvester gave us a great ride today, so she get the job done.
An 8-year-old, earnings of near $700,000. What do? How do you refine some of that good form as she did today?
Like when we claim the horses, like we look the big performances, the thing, like she was doing so good, the thing, and like nothing special actually, the race become easy today, so I got lucky.
I like that.
I got lucky, yeah.
Well, hoping to get lucky again in the next race. You'll send out Dangerous Ride, putting blinkers on him. Ilkay, talk a little bit about that decision.
We train with the blinkers in the morning. He's more focused. And I beat last time with the blinkers. I think it was really helped him. And the last time Shaheen Sivachi told me that blinkers would help him. So that's why we put the blinkers on today. Hopefully he can run better today with the blinkers on.
Speaking of Shaheen, he's Canadian/Turkish. Obviously, you know him. Talk a little bit about. I'm sure you kind of. I don't want to say you brought him here, but you had maybe a little bit in his ear to say to come to Aqueduct during the winter, yeah?
Yeah, he's my family. He's another Mert Khan to me. He's another brother to me. Yeah, he was born in Canada, then he moved to Turkey, then he come back here, and he was a leading jockey last year over there. I was keep telling him last 2 years, hey, you have to come over here, you have to come over here. He came, and he's doing so good so far, thank God. He's in top 5 or 6. He's doing good.
Well done you for bringing him here and getting in his ear a bit. Well, congratulations and best of luck with Shaheen in the next.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, finding her good form yet again. Masienko, guys, and Ilkay Kantamasi enjoying a good winter here as well.
Indeed, and yeah, that next race with Dangerous Ride, who Kantamasi will send out with Shaheen Sivachi aboard. Maybe the most difficult handicapping race of this entire day.
No, this is a very, very interesting race and a wide open race here. And, well, I'm glad to hear he helped convince Shaheen Sivachi to ride here because the guy can flat out ride. I mean, he absolutely belongs here. And, a lot of people come in the winter here, struggle, they leave. It's not that easy, and he is really doing well, and
you would mention
noticing.
Patrick Husbands, probably one of the greatest riders in the history of Canada.
No success here at all. It's not easy because you got to get the opportunities. He's gotten them, but he's really made the most of any chance that he's gotten. That guy is a good rider.
So here we go with the 7th race that Maggie was just asking Ilkay about, and they will send out Dangerous Ride in this one. $25,000 claiming sprint at 6 furlongs.
I mean, you look at the board, and you've got a 3-1, 7-2, a 4-1, and 2 5-1s, and War Stride and Excellent Timing on paper look like the outliers. They're the 5th and 6th choices, but even both of them, or 6 and 7 choice, I should say, are below 10-1.
Board reflects anybody could get this win, including the man we're going to tell you about next. He'll be on the 5, War Stride, coming up. 2024, as expected, another banner year for rider Manny Franco. He set a new personal best with over $18 million in earnings and tied for 10th nationally in victories. Franco continues to rise among the sport's elites and continues to strengthen his bond with some of the top barns in the game. Jockey Manny Franco has been no stranger to the winner's circle in his career. Even with over 2,000 wins, including multiple Grade 1s, he continues to stay motivated to be the very best in the game.
I'm hungry, I want to win races, that's what I'm here for.
Family has always been a driving force for Franco. From his first trip to the track, to jockey school, and coming to the United States, Manny's bond with his father has been a key component to his success.
I was about 14 years old. My dad took me to the track every Sunday in Puerto Rico. Saw those animals running, and I just fall in love with the sport.
Throughout his career, Franco has found support from fellow Puerto Rican riders Arad and Jose Ortiz, as well as Hall of Famer John Velasquez.
Coming from Puerto Rico, coming from the same school, you have to be very proud, and although we compete with one another, but you have to be proud to what they've done and to have the talent, There's no doubt that Manny has the talent to be a top rider in the whole country.
It is going to be a photo finish, and I think it was Discreet Lover. Schering takes the lead. Late move from Dye. Back to third is Sweet Melania. Schering and Manny Franco have won.
And he's gonna do it, Manny Franco, in the Grade 1 Joe Hurst Turf Classic. But it is Tiz the Law, and the New York bred is gonna win New York's Belmont Stakes, the first leg of the 2020 Triple Crown. Here he is, Saratoga's hometown hero, Tiz the Law.
With all his accolades, Manny is still missing that one win all jockeys want the most.
Man, I want to win the Kentucky Derby so bad, man. That's the dream for any jockey, the Kentucky Derby.
Manny Franco had a pretty big mount this year on a champion 2-year-old filly. And a look at his finishes in the Kentucky Derby. Best he's done, Tiz the Law, runner-up, who had a pretty good year that way. Kicked off the Triple Crown in a strange year where the Belmont Stakes began it.
Yeah, I thought at that point that he could win all 4, including the Travers. Those Triple Crown races, Authentic beat him, but he was a very, very good horse, just like Manny's a very, very good rider. And, you know, winning the Derby, it's a little bit like great basketball players that have never won a championship, whether it's Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing, 2 guys who had the misfortune of playing against Michael Jordan way too much. Doesn't take away from how great they were, and I don't think it takes away from Manny Franco's talents. He hasn't won a Derby, and he's also very, very young. Irad hasn't won a Derby either. I mean, Flavien Prat won a Derby, but he got placed first. It's tough to win one race with the 20 horses in there. It doesn't take away from these people's skills, and I know that you agree. The measure of a rider is not whether or not they won the Derby, because there have been some riders who won the Derby that you and I probably wouldn't put on our horse if we owned a horse.
Yeah, it's very true.
Nobody.
And Manny, by the way.
I would.
Going to have a 3-year-old who you never know what that one could develop into. We'll see in the Withers. Captain Cook coming off that big, dominant maiden win for Rick Dutrow Jr. this weekend in the Withers.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, we'll see. We'll see if he wants to go long, and you got the impression from Rick that he had the same sort of feeling. We'll see if he wants to go this far, but it's not a bad thing to find out in February, because there are a lot of very, very big Trent races that he could run in, and clearly that horse is talented.
Second biggest price on the board in this wide-open race we're going to talk more about in a moment. The one that Manny Franco will be riding, that's Warstride. Comes off a win against non-winners of 3 Life Claiming Company. 3-time winner for trainer George Weaver. That's Manny's mount ahead, 14 minutes away from race 7 in this $25,000 Claiming 6 furlong sprint. More on this race when we come back.
And clear off at the Naira Benz Haskell.
In the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
Dornock setting up moderate pace, 3/4 of a length ahead.
As the field turns for home.
They're at it again. The 2 Belmont first and second place finishers.
Mind Frame on the outside. It's coming after Dornock.
Dornock wins the Haskell.
It will be Dornock to win the Belmont Stake.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Get into the game with Bond Racing Stable. When you partner with Bond Racing Stable, the Bond team does all the work and you enjoy the experience. As a partner, you can watch morning workouts, come to the paddock for saddling, and cheer your horse down the stretch. Bond Racing Stable offers more than 30 New York bred weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds in a partnership program that gets you to the winner's circle. Whether on your own or with friends and family, make Bond Racing Stable your racing partners. Go to jamesbondracing.com today.
Let's go get a bath. Every year, Rerun provides more than 100 thoroughbreds a safe landing when they leave the track. The Rerun team carefully evaluates each horse and person who wants to adopt.
Our adopters, they're specifically screened so that they can address each horse's individual training needs to bring them, bring out the optimal result in them.
Some X-race horses may excel in the show ring as hunters or jumpers. Others are handy enough to become polo ponies. And a few, like Deregulation, are quiet enough to be leadline horses for people like 7-year-old Raina Richardson, shown here leading her dad.
That's the result of a lot of time and effort on so many parts for New York racing, taking a stand and making sure these horses have a place to go when they actually do retire. For the Take the Lead program and their vetting process, and also their funding, which enables us to function as we do.
NYRA fans will recognize My Boy Tate because the New York bred gelding earned most of his $837,000 in New York before retiring sound to Rerun.
Tate is going to go with some previous adopters, and he's going to be entered in the Retired Racehorse Makeover Project.
Malloy says Rerun horses like My Boy Tate and the easygoing son of American Pharaoh called Not Far Now will one day star in aftercare events that remind the public that horses should be respected at every stage of life.
Oh, that last sentence, so true. Got to take care of these equine athletes that make this sport so memorable. For more on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund, go to nybreds.com. As we get close to race 7 here, coming up, competitive 6-furlong sprint. And a look at the current favorite, Gray Wing, 7-year-old, who, for his 28 race career, comes in sharp form. But he's got to step up a little here, doesn't he?
Well, right. The problem that he has here is that there are too many horses near that have run better races, and some of them relatively recently. He does come off of a big win and a race that's good enough to be competitive here, but there's a lot of horses that are capable of running better races, so you're sort of taking him on the hope that nobody shows up and runs their better races, and you and I would rather take a bigger price on a horse that they step up and run one of their good races. Though the horse you like, Seas Get Degrees, is 3-1 right now?
No, I went to the 4.
Oh, you went to 4. I'm sorry. We were discussing Seas Get Degrees, a horse that we find interesting, which we'll get into after the break.
Yeah.
After Maggie.
Favorite, though, Gray Wing. Here is the 7-year-old Maggie coming off that victory as the favorite last start.
Yeah, I feel like Connection's kind of striking while the iron's hot, right, when it comes to Gray Wing, and just being ultimately realistic. Took a little while to get through that New York bred A other than, and these are the types of races that he should be running in. And it looks as though he's thriving right now. His weight was tremendous last time. It's the same yet again, coming off a relatively short rest. Great energy here in the paddock, too. So by all observations, he feels like a horse that is deserved of taking a lot of money in here, currently at 5-2. So all things good with Gray Wing, who shocked me last time I was talking with owner Anthony Garino of Red Storm Stable, saying, I think he sits the perfect trip because there's speed for him just to stalk behind. Nope, he went straight to the lead, and nobody else did. Anyway, we'll look to his inside at number 5, War Stride, with George Weaver in here as he's coming off the back of a win, and a horse that, you look at his career so far, and he's won a third of his lifetime starts. So that's nothing, I think, to scoff at. And it looks as though he's doing well heading into this race. And that another one, great energy, great coat, and great weight. A horse that just looks really good for the middle of winter. He's the one that walked down here and immediately my eye went to him. So I really like the appearances of War Stride in here. But again, when you break through those restricted claimers, and now you're facing these open kind of horses who have won, 6, 7 races, 8 races, then you are kind of at times fighting an uphill battle. But again, could not ask Horse Stride to look any better here in the paddock. As we'll take a look at Ilkay Kantamasi's charge in here. Number 4, Dangerous Ride, looking for another winner on the card. Slight drop in class for this 4-time winner with the blinkers on. Ilkay stating, working him in them last time out, and just felt as though they provided a bit of focus. And with the short cup that he is wearing, I really think that's all they're trying to do here. Just get this horse a little bit more focused. Very short cup cheater blinker on him. Great coat overall. One I kind of want to watch, Greg, and how he warms up, how he's moving out there on the track today. But a decent enough impression here in the paddock.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Dangerous Ride. There he is, 5-1. The blinkers on for the Cantermachi barn, and they will have that rider who they convinced to come here.
And
Sahin Zavachi.
it was a funny day on January 19th, because some will remember that January 18th was an enormous speed track. Horses could not make up ground. The first 2 races on the 19th, if you didn't know, you would have said it was a dead rail and a closer's bias. Well, this horse was sort of not on the inside, but was sitting close to the pace. It turned out to be a very fair track. He just didn't run well last time, but his race 2 back behind Secret Rules, it's cold as hell. That's good enough to compete here, isn't it? And even 3 back, his race is okay.
I think that race, 2 back, no one can touch this horse.
Well, there are a lot of horses that could have their good day. I mean, obviously Excellent Timing has great form going back. It doesn't feel like we'll see that form. One thing about Excellent Timing, unless he falls coming out of the gate, he's going to be in front, because he might be as fast a horse for the first quarter as there is in the grounds. So you imagine he'll be the speed. He just went down to 5-1. I don't know how you bet him off his recent form, and he's a reclaim by Rudy. Or claimed by Rudy. I don't know if Rudy's had him in the past or not. I find it tough to make him, but he is the speed. Horse Stride beat a much, much, much weaker field with a good trip last time. I don't make him competitive here. The others, all competitive.
And you brought up a very good point when we did, Talking Horses this morning about this barn who's going to have the most interesting horse, I think, in the entire country running later today in Garuvan in the nightcap, sending out this horse too. Seas Get Degrees, just claimed Seas Get Degrees.
This is owner-trainer Steve Schauer now, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce the name correctly, who are not familiar with being an owner, took out his owner's license. Now, usually when owners take out a license to train, it often doesn't work out well. In his case, I think he had a horse, didn't run great, didn't run terribly, but then he has Garuvan. He claimed Garuvan. Horse ran well off the claim for him, and then he ran, this is in the last race today, the number 2 Garuvan, he ran a 99 buyer. I want to keep an eye on this guy. He's got Seas Get Degrees now off the claim, and maybe he's a trainer that's going to move this horse up. I would not discount him. He did not draw well on the inside with Excellent Timing. He's got to work out a trip from in there.
So, yeah, we'll see big shots for this new face barn here in New York in the next 2 races of this late double ahead as we hear the call to post. Riders up. And there is a look at War Stride. That's the one Manny Franco set to hop aboard. 7-2 is your favorite, which tells you how difficult a betting race this is.
Yeah, this is a fairly wide open race. Wow, my horse is favored.
Everyone just says we'll just go with Andy Serling. Seas Get Degrees. So Steven Schauer, first off the claim, he'll have Garuvan in the nightcap.
The problem is that he really is kind of a need-to-lead horse, and it's hard to see him getting it, but I can make cases why he can win.
4 of his 8 wins have come here at Aqueduct. 9-2 next door on the Speedster Poppy's Pride.
Yeah, the problem with Poppy's Pride is he's another speed type, and as the trainer's had some success off the claim, but he's been facing weaker horses. He's got some races. I prefer others.
Comeback race was not great, but he faced a horse that just kind of freaked Garuvan, who we're going to see again later.
Yeah, I like Dots Dollar. I think he was way above his head last time, chasing a pace that fell apart, and I feel like he's one that can rate.
Cantermachis look to go back-to-back. Dangerous Ride.
Listen, you like him, made a case for him, and he's a square price.
War Stride. Here's Manny Franco's mount, one with pace.
Yeah, he's just a horse that's going to have to improve off his last couple of races. Any of his races, really. He's got no races good enough to win here.
Gray Wing as a 7-year-old finally starting to come into his own.
He's in great form for Chris Englehart.
Christopher Elliott will be aboard, coming off that victory as the favorite last start. And then Excellent Timing, very quick early, but the form is tailed off.
Yeah, that's the concern with him. I'm looking at multi-race bets. Feels like the 1 and 6 are going to vie for favoritism here, with Dots Dollar likely a narrow third choice in here. A lot of money for Seas Get Degrees down the rail.
The horse has been around this circuit for a long time. So back to Dots Dollar. 7-2 favoritism here. Gustavo Rodriguez, blinkers going on. This 8-time winner.
My general feeling was close to a pace that fell apart against Better last time. Didn't really run that badly. Time before that, similar type situation. But I really feel like he's the one, second off a little bit of a freshening, that can stalk and rate. And he's not a speed type. And I think they're going to be moving early in this race.
And that price gets even a little bit lower now, down to 3-1.
Surprised.
It does. There's plenty that look like they do want to be forward. Maybe this one gets a perfect trip. With more on Dots Dollar, let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, Dots Dollar, 8-time winner. Just a horse that, generally shows up with his lunch pail to work and gets the job done. Adding blinkers, though, for a horse that, like I said, is rather honest. So maybe off of that, as Andy said, tough spot, kind of disappointing effort. Are they trying to get a little bit more speed out of this guy who does apply a fairly significant blinker, does have holes in them as well? More of a 3/4 cup with those holes on the side. So, good fit overall. He's very tepid favorite as of now. So I respect him. Did I love him? Not necessarily. As we move on to the speedster, number 2, Poppy's Pride. I think Michael Catalano does a great job with everything that I've seen from his horses, and I'm familiar with him from way back when in the Mid-Atlantic region. But Poppy's Pride, really healthy weight. Now, does that mean he needs to start off a bit of a freshening here? Possibly, but he also just seems like a happy horse. And with these older horses that have the speed like he does, with 44 career starts, you're kind of working on muscle memory. I find that them being happier is more imperative than them being 100% fit. So I do believe Poppy's Pride could be dangerous here. We'll see how much company he has up front early on. And that could include number 1, C's Get Degrees in here. And I'm excited to see what Steven Schauer does with his horses. Definitely got grooving, if you will. C's Get Degrees, familiar with him. I've just seen him carry better weight. I've seen him look better in his coat. And he's a horse that generally is quite a bit of a heavier type. So the fact that he looks, kind of as streamlined as he does, I'm not in love with, though definitely has the back class and the back races if he can find them yet again. Greg?
Some names that we have, become accustomed to hearing on this circuit, and certainly C's Get Degrees, one of them. This 7-year-old's been around for a while.
Yeah, no, these horses are tough competitors. You look at him throughout his career, 37 starts, hit the board in 23 of them, over $400,000. Very similar stats with Poppy's Pride, $400,000, almost $400,000 with Dots Dollar. I mean, these horses have been consistent and run well for a long, long time. A lot of good earners in this race.
And I think if we look at this race, it's tough to feel good about anyone, but I think we feel with Gray Wing at that price, probably
He's a very reasonable price.
You think that's okay?
Yeah.
He still needs to improve to win
I
here,
thought he might need to improve a little bit or hope nobody runs their better races, which is always possible. He's in good form. I picked him second. I picked the race 3-6-1-2. You like the 4.
You surprised Dots Dollar's that short?
Yes. I did not think Dots Dollar would be 3-1. I'm not saying I would or wouldn't have picked him. I just didn't think he'd be this short.
Jose Lezcano for Gustavo Rodriguez with the 3. Andy's selection here clicks up a notch, half notch anyway, to 7-2. 7th race, competitive. 6-furlong sprint here in this $25,000 claiming event. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Excellent timing. Last to load to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Excellent timing. Broke very well, very sharply towards the outside, but they are lined up and they want a piece of the early action. Excellent timing. Down at the rail here, C's Get Degrees. Poppy's Pride wants to be in the early mix, is now going to take back, is in between horses. Here comes Dots Dollar to the outside and also Gray Wing. A pressured tempo early from the back. Dangerous Ride is trying to make up some ground, is now taken 6th. In the trailer, War Stride. No easy lead here as it was 22 seconds flat for excellent timing. Excellent timing, going to try and take them all the way. Chased by Dots Dollar. Here comes Gray Wing, 3 wide. Dangerous Ride is on the move, is now about to challenge for 4th. At the rail, that's going to be C's Get Degrees. War Stride has got a wide run, and the trailer, Poppy's Pride. They get set to reach the top of the stretch, and excellent timing kicks on. Gray Wing continues to chase, and excellent timing is still there. C's Get Degrees is making up some ground in between horses. Also right there is War Stride as they swarm that leader. Gray Wing is in front, but for how long? C's Get Degrees and War Stride, they travel as a pair to the inside. Gray Wing has been passed. It's C's Get Degrees head and head here with War Stride. C's Get Degrees is your winner. C's Get Degrees wins it over War Stride. Gray Wing for a 4th in 1 minute 10.52 seconds.
C's Get Degrees 7-2. Steven Schauer off the claim, and again he will have Garuvan coming up in the nightcap as a 7-5 morning line favorite.
Maybe a trainer to keep an eye on. Very strange performance by him. Didn't break that well, couldn't keep up early, dropped back near last, and re-rallied to get the win. Not the kind of way you would expect to see him win. Now, they were moving up front. The 3 and 6 ended up far too close to the pace. I'm not really sure what was going on with the 3 in this situation. But he obviously didn't run well, and a very, very big improvement for the 5 War Stride, who had never run anywhere close to this type of effort. He ran today. I don't think Gray Wing ran badly. He was just too close to a fast pace.
C's Get Degrees, Ramiro Mirage for a new face on this circuit who's going to have overwhelmingly the one to beat coming up in the race to close out this Thursday card in Garuvan. 1.563 finish here. As, you know, War Stride trying to make it tight.
Not sure where that race came from, but he ran very well in here.
9th career win.
It's not the way you would have expected C's Get Degrees to win, but he got it done, and our man, Ramiro Mirage.
Yeah, good for Ramiro. He's starting to pile up quite a few wins. This 7-year-old, now 5 for 11 here at Aqueduct, and yet another upset. Favorite actually in the end, went back to the 6. Gray Wing at 2-1.
With 3 7-2 shots winning in a row, I think you're going to. No, last race was just under 5-2, but still beating the favorite. So this was a race that was fairly wide open. He was one of the 3 choices.
C's Get Degrees with the victory. Coming up this weekend, a lot of Tampa this Saturday for you with graded stakes action ahead. We'll have a preview of the Grade 3 Endeavor on the turf at a mile and 16th and the Grade 3 Tampa Bay. Take a look at both those when we come back. Stay with us.
Thanks for spending your Thursday afternoon with us here on America's Day at the Races. As C's get degrees, yes they do. They also get you in the winner's circle, as I'm pleased to be joined here by winning trainer Steven Schauer. And Steven, second win on the tally as a trainer. First, I got to ask you, what was the decision to jump into training in your own name?
Just needed to start doing it. You know, I'm getting older. I said I have to do this one time in my life, and I decided to do it. So, and my wife pushed me, so let's do it. So we did it. It's a commitment. So, you know, you have to. You just have to take the plunge if you're going to do it. And now I'm still viable enough to do it, so I'm going to do it.
We saw you as an owner. I always saw you in the mornings. Was that just a learning experience, just kind of, gathering everything that you could learn about the game?
Yes, every morning going out there with Antonio in the beginning, and there's a lot of people there on the rail there. They'll give you advice, and you just listen to them and pick and choose who you believe, who you don't believe, and I have to say a lot of the knowledge that I got was from Chris Engelhardt and Manny Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. So, and they've helped me, and I've grown from there. So I'm happy about it. I can't complain.
And good connections to learn the claiming game, which you've played very nicely. And C's get degrees first off the claim, much like we'll see with Garuvan in the next race as well. But talk a little bit about this guy. I mean, I thought, a tremendous effort considering he didn't get to the lead from the inside. But there's one thing about this horse that always rings true. He's a fighter.
He's a total fighter. We gave him a little bit of extra time. We spaced out his race a little bit. We put a little bit more muscle on him, a little bit more weight, and we let him relax. And he's just responded. The riders loved him. They never really complained about him. So we just said, all right, let's just go with it. And that's it. We just prepared him for this spot, and that's it. Nothing technical.
He's a cool horse. Those ones, they know their job. And Garuvan coming up in the next. Talk about that performance last time. Were you expecting that?
I was expecting a good performance. I wasn't expecting that. I'll be very, very honest. I mean, I'm 12-1 in that race. It was a great field. I think, unfortunately, I mean, it was a stronger field last time than today, and I don't want to complain about it. But, Marat loved him. He said he still had more in the tank last time. I was like, well, let's see if he can do it again. That's it. Nothing complicated. It's just, he's a good horse, and we'll see what he can do. That's it.
Have you made the right life decision?
So far, yeah. I'm making it look easy, but it's not easy. It's very, very difficult.
Keep up the great work, and well done on your commitment.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see if Steven can go back-to-back. Of course, sending out Garuvan next, guys.
Pretty terrific start for a new barn here on one of the most competitive circuits there is in this game. Steven Schauer, and they'll have the horse to beat, who I think is the most exciting horse on this entire card, probably running today anywhere in the country, in Garuvan, coming up in the very next race. As you said, another race like we saw as we see the Pick 5 here from Garuvan that we saw last time, we might see him in graded stakes company.
I mean, judging by how well he ran last time, he deserves at least a look. If he can run that again, it's hard to imagine he's going to duplicate that performance, and we'll see what we get from him. A horse that's just improved leaps and bounds getting into this barn. Claimed from Robbie Falcone for $16,000, three back.
99 Beyer speed figure in a blowout victory back on January the 5th for Steven Schauer. Now 3-2 here, looking to win back-to-back here. And Romero Mirage will be aboard as well. And even if he were to come back to earth a little bit from those starts 2 and 3 starts back, he's still the horse to beat, isn't he?
I agree. Yeah. I'm trying to beat him, but I think he is the horse to beat.
All right, we'll have that coming up. Garuvan right now, 7-5. Talked about Tampa coming up this weekend. We're going to have live coverage. And the Endeavor, grade 3 on the turf. Fillies, mares, 4 and up. And Venencia and Breathaway, they'll get reunited.
Yeah, I think that Breathaway is the one that I want in this race, and I know Venencia was able to improve and got the job done, and maybe she's an improving horse for Chad Brown. But of the Chad Brown horses, I got to think Saffron Moon, who doesn't run often enough, but if Flavia Pratt's riding that one, probably the one that barn prefers. Not a race I've had any conversation with him about, just my assumption. As far as Breathaway went extremely well last time out with a very wide trip around the racetrack, and while finishing behind Ocean Club, she ran lengths better than that one, and I kind of prefer her. She gets unlucky at times, but she's pretty consistent, so I prefer Breathaway in here. Though Christophe Clement's other runners see you around is not impossible, and Saffron Moon is an interesting player coming back in here. She runs just so rarely.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ocean Club with a grade 3 win in New York, beating Breathaway. That's... She won as the favorite in that Noble Damsel.
If I could book all the money bet on one horse, it would be her. You know, she was able to get a very soft trip on the front end, one that was easily predictable in this race to get it done, and Breathaway ran better than she did in defeat. She finished ahead of Breathaway last time, slipping up the inside. She comes off 2 straight inside draws, which is very beneficial in these 2-turn races, especially when you have speed like she does. Now she has an outside draw, and assuming there aren't scratches, there are faster horses than her early in this race. So I don't think she gets the same kind of cozy, soft, ground-saving trip she's been getting, and I think as one of the choices, she's a very good bet against in here. I'd be very surprised if she finishes ahead of Breathaway. Whether or not Breathaway wins is another story.
Meanwhile, relatively new face here in the U.S., who was beat less than 2 lengths in the Group 1 French Guineas last year. See you around for Christophe Clement.
And the horse she beat in this race in her time finished a very respectable 3rd in the co-feature on Saturday's card down at Gulfstream, and some will remember her because she's the horse that went from 23-1 to 7-1 in the last flash before showing her speed and finishing 3rd in that race. These are not as tough as those horses. She's an interesting horse who really improved for Christophe Clement. 2nd time in this country. Good trip or not, she draws the rail again.
Meanwhile, boys going to get their turn in the Grade 3 Tampa Bay. Mile and 16th on the turf as well. Purse also of $175,000. Big name barns showing up here as well, like John Brown with Running Bee, and Pratt will ride this one.
You think Pratt's going to get overbet at Tampa over the weekend? He's riding a bunch of horses for
Maybe
Chad.
a touch.
I think he's going to be a short price some races. Nothing wrong with this horse. He's got a good trip in here to run down Big Everest, who's always out there trying hard. And he's in good form. He's probably the fastest horse. He's the one to beat, and he drew inside. I'm going to try to beat him with Irish Aces, but I have no problem with Running Bee.
7 wins, 3 runner-ups. Not that far behind Carl Spackler and More Than Looks, who would come back to win the Breeders' Cup Mile and the Turf Mile a couple starts ago.
Yeah, no, he's okay. I mean, you know, the others try to beat him. Irish Aces needs to step up against the best company. And, you know, will Northern Invader show up with one of his good races? They are the big 3, along with Peros, who's been in great form, but he's gotten some very soft trips.
Let's talk about him. Yeah, 5 in a row for Peros, including a win, 2 back in Keeneland over Irish Aces.
Not easy to claim off Linda Rice and, you know, kind of improve off of them, which Mike Maker has done with a horse that was getting into good form for Linda and has subsequently improved. But if you watch this race, Peros had the dreamiest of trips, saving ground on the rail, angling out in the stretch, the kind of trip you dream of in turf races. Now, not that Irish Aces had a bad trip, because he saved ground for the first turn and much of the second turn, but he did angle out much wider, and Peros was closer to the pace, and I think Peros was able to get a better trip than him. I thought Irish Aces, if the price was right, might be a possible horse who could beat Running Bee in here. Clearly the horse to beat.
Interesting races. We're going to have live coverage from Tampa Bay coming up this weekend. We hope you join us. Look forward to that to bolster our Saturday coverage. We're going to get to the finale coming up. It was C's Get Degrees in the 7th, but this new face on the circuit early on acing the competition. Steven Schauer got Garuven as the 6-5 top choice coming off an out-of-this-world effort. Can he do it again?
Deep in the heart of horse country, from these Kentucky hills has sprung a legacy rivaled by few. From the all-time greats of yesterday to the breed-shaping bloodlines of today, our roots hold strong with the promise of tomorrow. For over a century, our passion has guided us to where we stand and everything we stand for. Claiborne Farm, the tradition continues.
The Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mixed Sale, the last mixed sale before the start of the breeding season. Featuring racing broodmare prospects, yearlings, and mares in foal to their sport's top sires. Recent grads include multiple Grade 1 winner Adair Manor, graded stakes winners Fast as Flight, First Peace, Leave No Trace, Olivia Darling, and Running Bee. Kentucky Winter Mixed, February 3rd at Fasig-Tipton in Lexington, Kentucky. Where will you be?
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time Grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on Naira Bets. Open your Naira Bets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the Naira Bets app to start using Fast Facts today.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Nestled behind the gates of Hillendale Farm at Alapa, you can find a cabin-like 5,000 square foot home called the Treehouse. It's a new one-of-a-kind getaway destination located in the heart of horse country. The home offers hewn beams, flooring made from lumber harvested from Maker's Mark's original rickhouse. A room with vintage horse saddles, the collection includes one that belonged to the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. You can enjoy a drink or a meal on the back screened porch or one of 4 decks that overlook the tranquil Stoner Creek. Upon request, reservations can be purchased to experience an inside look of a working thoroughbred farm with a tour of Hillendale. The Treehouse now offers a unique place to stay on the grounds that house the famed Kentucky Stallion Station and Thoroughbred Nursery of Hillendale at Alapa.
Back with you on our Thursday coverage here on Fox Sports 2, and it's brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa as we get set for this very interesting finale on the Thursday card. 7 furlongs, starter optional claiming race in a horse that just ran off the screen last start for the barn that just won the last race. Steve Schauer, that was with a claim. Seeds Get Degrees, claimed this horse a couple of starts ago, and he got that big effort second off the claim.
It is a bit of a different story in today's race where last time out, got a fast pace, a good outside stalking trip, and able to run. But even if this horse runs 4 to 5 lengths worse, he still might be best today. The question is where did it come from and will we ever see it again? But a different story in this race. Now, there should be some speed in here, but still, I think it's a very, very different setup for him. But he was good last time, and if he runs this race, he is an extraordinarily likely winner today.
And extraordinarily likely to be tackling a lot tougher company going forward. What will we get from Garuvan, Maggie, here off that big performance?
I don't know. Greg, does he look like the best horse in the paddock? No, but neither did Seeds Get Degrees, so what do I know? Let's take a look at some others, though, that do look good. And we'll start with number 6, Unlimited Potential. For Ilkay Cantermasi, I mean, what chance did he have last time in the Queens County? Sloppy track, just much better horses overall, and now he's a little bit back down in reality. For a second off, excuse me, it's not really second off because Matt Kent had this horse before. But a horse that's a little bit in and out, but last, 2 back makes him somewhat of a player here, and I'm okay with him turning back to the 7 furlongs. Does it dull him a little bit? Possibly, but it's okay. I think he'll be fine. He looks tremendous here in the paddock, especially against this crew, as opposed to the foes that he faced last time out. Now, another horse that I think probably looks best, one of the best in here, is number 4, Critical Threat. Granted, I thought that last time when he faced Garuvan, but he was part of that pace that eventually incinerated. But I'd be willing to give him another chance. It doesn't feel as though there's as much speed in here. We'll see if that plays out, but I just want to give him another shot. I think he looks fantastic. The front reps do go on here today, so sometimes do proceed with caution when you see that addition. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. We'll get to the post parade here coming up. Critical threat. He is quick, 7-year-old Rob Falcone Jr. And this horse had at Saratoga this summer, who, even if Garuvan provides his best performance, was not very far off that.
No, I agree. He's capable of running a very fast race. And obviously, he was a give-up trainer Todd Pletcher, and he ran a huge race that day. While he didn't run well in his next start, it was a tough competitive race. Last two back, he ran huge, just a very big performance. And last time out, he got up in a speed duel with Phileas Fogg, trying to go a mile and an eighth. I think 7 furlongs is perfect to cut back for him, and I like his chances today as an upsetter, mild upsetter.
Cantor Machi Barn, yeah, with this 6-year unlimited potential. So let's go 2 back at a mile here at Aqueducts, and pulls away from this field here in the stretch that included a next out winner running third.
Liberated Bayou is going to be tough tomorrow. Is a very competitive horse in tomorrow's one of tomorrow's races. I think the 4th race tomorrow. This horse is capable of running very well. It seems like the Cantor Machi horses are running well, and I like his chances today as the speed.
And as Maggie brought up, I think that was just way too tough competition last time out.
He had no chance last time out. Those horses are way too. Plus a mile and an eighth also. I know he's won at it, but he'll be better in this kind of company going a little bit shorter.
And then how about that, though? As a barn, you say, oh, let's get more realistic. And then a horse like Garuvan shows up in the field who put together a 99 Beyer speed performance last start.
You're right. He's one of the more fascinating horses in the card, the 2 Garuvan. Can he run back and run as well as that performance? Because that was some effort last time. You just don't know.
6-5, would you say, what is the board telling us with a horse?
Nothing. He's got to be a big favorite. He's a real favorite in doubles. But the 4 and 6 took a lot of money in the doubles. You look, the pick 6 is interesting. The 2, 4, and 6 are all covered. The 3, 1, 3, 5, and 7 are not covered. It's not that surprising. It's very hard to look at this race and think like, one of those horses isn't going to win. What's very clear from the double payouts is the last winner was a shorter price in multi-race bets. It's very, very clear that that's not the case. The pick 3 is crazy with Garuvan. It's only $45 for $2. Didn't the horses just pay $6.80 and $9.50? So the parlay already is about $7 times 9. I'm sorry, I'm just a little late. $31.50 plus a little bit is about $35, and it's paying only $45. But they're small. They're not that big with the 4 and 6 either, suggesting the last winner was a shorter price.
There's Garuvan moving by. We'll see him in a minute as we kick off the post parade shortly. Cold as hell. Sahin Savachi, Wayne Potts off the claim. A reclaim for him. This horse has been incredibly popular, the 3 in the claim box of late.
And he's run well in some races, and he is potentially going to be forward and could get a little bit in the way of the 6 unlimited potential.
Yeah, there's, several in this field who have a race not that long ago.
Well, cold as hell. If the pick 6 isn't it, cold as hell is 1-5 to be the horse that won it.
So we'll start off with Life and Light and Jose Gomez at 14-1.
This would be a massive upsetter. This horse, just his last race, is not competitive with these.
No question, the horse to beat. So here he is for the barn. Just won the last race. Stephen Shower, Garuvan.
Kind of the question of the day. What will we see from this horse?
Cold as hell. He likes to be up front and on the lead. Wayne Potts off the claim.
He's got to assume he's going to be forward. He's got to get 7 furlongs in a very tough spot off the claim.
More pace next door, critical threat.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a speed in here. There's faster horses, but he'll be close. And I think his last race not as bad as it looks.
Another one who could be forward, Charging Arrow, Amira Shockley off the claim.
Yes, this horse would be quite the upset. How is this horse only 6-1 and not 36-1?
12-1 morning line. Unlimited potential for the Cantor Machi barn we talked about.
Yeah, I like this horse to be forward here and win the race.
And honorary degree, one who showed speed last start.
Has been in good form for a barn that's won for its last 141. And you know who the one is? I don't know if it's him. Might be him.
20-1 outside. You can play this race, all the action that we show you on the program and beyond by getting signed up at Hour Bets. Bonus $200, code to use at sign up. Get that $200 deposit match new customer bonus right there at NowRebets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. We got a Derby prep this weekend here in New York with the Withers. Graded stakes action on the grass from Tampa Bay. 3 stakes on our Saturday card. As you get a look here at Unlimited Potential, and both Maggie and Andy agree, and right now this is the second choice on the board at 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, does seem like the most logical if you're trying to beat the favorite in this race. We'll see how fast the pace is. If the pace doesn't get that fast, I think he's going to be tough to beat on the front end. But potentially the 3 could heat up the pace.
As for the favorite, as we go back to Maggie, has Garuvan woken up at all as he stepped onto the racetrack?
Yeah, he's hoping that they do go in here. Look, Garuvan, he is what he is. He looks fine. He looks good out on the racetrack. To me, physically, he looks third best, but he might prove to be best here. And I think the pace is really going to be the determining factor as to how Garuvan runs today. Those front wraps do stay on for the second consecutive time in a row here, warming up really nicely, maybe upgraded slightly since watching him out on the track overall. But you know, we'll see where Unlimited Potential finds himself. I like the fact that he's drawn to the outside because I don't think he's as fast as a horse like Cold as Hell, which, wow, if you want a horse that's named aptly for the weather, it's him. That's your hunch play here at 6-1. But like I said, Garuvan's going to hope that they're out there hitting because I think that is the biggest key to his success, Greg.
And Maggie, we feel for you because you're out in the elements every day, but it's warmed up here in New York.
She's a lot tougher than we are, Greg. You know?
She
I mean, if somebody had to be outside, it has to be Maggie because you and I are big
We'd
babies,
cancel
and
the
Maggie's
show.
tough. Right. You and I would be out there in tears. Remember we did that show for the Gotham a bunch of years ago? It was about 38 degrees, and we were sitting on the set for 3 hours.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
When we're at the other end out here,
Yeah,
basically outdoors.
Yeah, we were outside. We
Yeah.
were outside the windows there. A little chilly.
So it's
Maggie was giggling at us the whole day. She got her revenge finally.
a little closer, wagering-wise, between the 2 and 6 right now.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm surprised the 4 is this big a price here. I thought the 4 would be shorter and is a bit shorter looking at multi-race bets.
I'm a little surprised, and maybe that the 2's not a bigger favorite.
Well, it's not. You're right. He's not a one-number horse because there are other figures that make him competitive. But his last race is the one number that sticks out. That's all.
And it really sticks out.
It does.
Can he do it again,
he'll
though?
win.
That is the big question for the 2 Garuvan. 6-5. If he can do it again, yeah, you got to think much, much loftier goals with the connections of Garuvan if he can repeat that performance.
No, I agree. You and I talked about it this morning when we were doing the pre-show, and I think we're both fascinated to see will Garuvan run back to that number. And as we both said, he doesn't need to run back to it to win here, but it's still an interest to see how well he does run today.
Maggie talked to the trainer-owner in the last race with that win with Seas Get Degrees, Stephen Schauer, fulfilling a lifelong dream, saying it's now or never, let's do it while I still can. And this is a horse that has him off to a roaring start, along with that win with Seas Get Degrees in the last. Can Garuvan keep it up for Stephen Schauer? Nightcap from Aqueduct. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Unlimited Potential. Sylvester Gonzalez. And last to load, Honorary Degree. Carol Cedeno is up and going in. All set. And they're off. Stumble at the break there for Critical Threat. Bobble and a stumble, but Critical Threat is now in between horses. The speed is with Cold as Hell. Cold as Hell and Unlimited Potential. They're going to be the top duo. Just off of them, and the Purple Silks is Honorary Degree. Just to the inside of that rival comes Charging Arrow is now tracking from 4th. Life and Light, traveling a touch awkwardly there, is now dropping back through the field, is at the back end. Just got passed by Garuvan and Critical Threat after the stumble is now second to last, is pushed to last, is Life and Light. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Cold as Hell and Unlimited Potential. They're a clear 1-2. Chasing now from third is Honorary Degree, who's on the move from third, and at the rail still, that's Charging Arrow. Garuvan has taken fifth, and Garuvan is 6 off the lead, trying to make up late ground Critical Threat, and Life and Light is the trailer, 45.47 for a pressured half-mile time. Cold as Hell and Unlimited Potential now drifts out a touch as they reach a quarter mile left to go. Garuvan just split rivals, is taken now fourth, is ready to challenge for third. The leader is Unlimited Potential there with Cold as Hell, but Garuvan makes up late ground grandstand side. Garuvan starts to roll for a final furlong. Unlimited Potential is in front, but Garuvan is pushing on past. Romero Mirage is now striding clear. Trader Steven Schauer is going to pick up a double. Garuvan in the finale. Unlimited Potential second, then a photo. That was Charging Arrow with Cold as Hell in 1 minute 23.44 seconds.
Garuvan doing just that as he rolls along back-to-back, dominating performances, and he was very far back early.
It wasn't that quick a first quarter, but it was a wicked fast second quarter. They went 22-1 the second quarter, and that's what happens in 7 furlong and mile races when there's speed up front. They'll heat it up in that second quarter, and that's what enabled Garuvan to win and prevented Unlimited Potential, who ran very well to be second here, but the big fast pace really helped Garuvan. But he ran big again, and another win for these connections. Romero Mirage back-to-back wins. I vote for the interview to be the good-looking Mirage after the race. What do you think?
It's always a good choice.
Unless we're going to do a phoner with Rajiv.
Could do that.
He could be riding, though. It's down at Gulfstream.
2-6-5-3. I made his return a couple of months ago. Good
Got
for
some
him.
winners. I won about 5 or 6 races at least.
But yeah, we're starting to say his cousin's name a lot. Romero on the victory here. Back-to-back wins to close out this card. Both of them for, the new face on this circuit. Steven Schauer, look at the start early on. Well, your eventual winner, the 2 Garuvan, but the 4 goes to his nose.
Yeah, that really took him out of the race, but I don't think anybody was beating Garuvan today.
I know we're going to wait and see how it comes back, but 123-2 for 7 furlongs on this track.
I don't think it's a super figure.
No?
No. I don't think it'll be a huge number. It's not going to be as big as the last one. I'll take a look tonight. I'll put it on Twitter.
2-6-5-3. Garuvan gets it done again.
Could be a 90-ish. Crazy.
4 for 7 now at Aqueduct. And this new barn continuing to impress early on. Enjoy him while you can get him. Steven Schauer, C's Get Degrees, claimed. Won last start, claimed this horse. And second and third off the claim. Has won back-to-back now, and he's done it incredibly impressive. 5-year-old in the best form by a mile of his life that he's ever been in. Can he keep things going? Well, he did today for now. Tougher tests may lie ahead. We'll find out. It's making me stressed out just watching how fast everyone's moving. And that's what life in New York is like.
That's just an average day down
It is. If you've lived here, you know it. Bet all the action with Now Our Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. New York Minute.
It's a great building. It really is a great building. You ever go to the bar up on the
Cipriano's?
upper side?
Is that what it is?
No, I don't know. There's one on the other side I used to go to. There's a Campbell Room, which is hidden back. It's a good restaurant's name, I forget. Somewhere hidden back on the ground, on the main floor. And there's the Oyster Bar.
Yeah.
That place,
A lot of good spots.
That place is great.
Groovin. Back-to-back, very impressive wins. We'll wait and see what this number does come back. I mean, obviously, last time out, it ran off the screen. This was very impressive, though, as well. Second last to an easy first for these back-to-back wins against Steven Schauer, continuing to get it done early on in his career. The man aboard, Romero Mirage. Let's go to Maggie.
I was about to say, Andy, Romero's dying for a hot shower. Be quiet. No, I'm kidding. But Romero, well done. You and Steven Schauer, the hot duo, taking the late double here. Talk a little bit about Groovin, as he really is doing such right now. Getting quick paces, but that suits him down to the ground.
Yeah, today the pace scenario set up greatly for him. Last time he broke a lot sharper than he did today. Today he was a bit more sluggish from the start. But given to how he just kicked home the last performance, I didn't want to overrush him. Just let him get into his rhythm, and then really from the 3/8 pull home, he just really charged home. It could have been anybody else on him. He just really flew home.
You're so modest. I love it. At least at the moment you are. But a big horse like that, you really have to let them kind of find their footing underneath of them.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I've learned over the past year or two, is really those type of horses that take a while to get going. It's all about rhythm for them, because if you take them out of the game, they're not going to run their best races. Sometimes I've learned you just got to let a horse be a horse and really get into their own stride and their own rhythm, and not really break it or take anything away from them.
Seems to get degrees, one in a way that I wasn't expecting, down on the rail, not on the lead. But the one thing about that horse, I was talking to Steven, is he loves getting in a fight. If he gets headed by a horse and sees clear racetrack in front of him, he's usually there to put his nose in front.
Yeah, he was very game as well, because the initial plan breaking from the one hole, seeing that he has prior speed, was to really break and go with him. But once I broke and he was just out sprinted naturally early, I didn't want to, like I said, overrush him. So I just sat in the pocket, and he's never really came off of the pace. So that was a great performance by him, and he was so game once the other horse came to him and he felt the other horse. Even if we went around the track two more times, he was not letting the other horse pass. So game.
How good is that shower going to feel?
Great.
Go get it. Well done today, Romero Mirage, guys. There's nothing better at the end of a cold day. And you see how much dirt he took, right, Greg? I think he might not need dinner after that much dirt that he's eaten.
How, Maggie, were you not waiting with a nice warm cup of water to wash that off for him?
Come on, Maggie. I mean, seriously, the poor guy, he just rode. The thing about Romero is he'll hold position well. I mean, this was a horse, as he said. You just had to have him find his position. But even with C's degrees, he was outrun. But he's not necessarily falling out of races, and he keeps forward horses in the game. I'm impressed with his riding. There's a lot of very, very good riders around here, but it's nice to see him getting more of a chance here during the winter, and he's delivering when he's getting the opportunities, and there's nothing more you can ask from a rider.
And, yeah, I don't know if it's probably the kind of blowout performance numbers-wise we saw last time, but I'm excited about Karuva and see what he does next.
We'll see. Take a look at those numbers. I'll be tweeting that out as soon as they come up on DRF a little bit later.
See how this played out in the pick 5. $397 return.
We got a $17
with Mo Rhodes, who was a heavy favorite. Mozienko, part of a favorite or second choice entry. C's degrees race was tough. Peruvian, many probably singled. I gave you Del Rey.
Tell you what, the pick 5 still paid. Yes, you did. You did give me Del Rey. You had a much better day. You're much smarter than me today. Meanwhile, the pick 5 paid around twice the parlay.
Wow.
Even with a host of short-priced horses. So once again, to the people out there that think the way to make money in multi-race bets is to bet against short-priced horses, it's not.
Yeah.
Proven wrong again.
Pick 6, by the way, $13.53. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We're going to look at the Derby Road and look who is back, ready to make his 3-year-old return, the winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. But could two stablemates be standing in his way? We'll take a look at Citizen Bull and his return and the Robert B. Lewis this weekend next.
The brilliance of the legendary Arrowgate and the speed and stamina of the sire of sires, Uncle Mo. Introducing Petulante, the first son of Arrowgate to stand in New York after winning handily at first asking.
Petulante! He's got a kick here, and he's going to prove much the best.
He won or placed in all 7 of his lifetime starts, including the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile.
Petulante, Nimbus class, Petulante!
Petulante, now standing in New York. For information, visit IHDVStallions.com today.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Thursday coverage. Andy and I have a date. Maybe on that train.
We'll be on the train. We'll be on an A train. I don't think that's the Aqueduct station. The Road to the Derby starts from the subway, apparently.
Yes, it does.
So
well,
it's a
Withers
tough
on
way to
Saturday.
get there.
Here's what's coming up this weekend. Holy Bull, Robert B. Lewis, and the Withers here in New York. 20 points each to the winner of those races to get into the starting gate for that first Saturday in May. And back for his 3-year-old return. Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, Citizen Bull, who is now a 2-time Grade 1 winner.
Will he be favored over his entry mate, Rodriguez, 1 of 3 for Bob Baffert? You've got him and Madacat Road off maiden wins, Citizen Bull off that Breeders' Cup Juvenile win, but I don't think anybody's falling for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. A race where East Avenue blew the brake, the pace ended up being ridiculously slow, and put me in the category of people that want to see it again. If Citizen Bull is a major factor in this Breeders' in the Derby chase, I'll be very surprised.
Expensive son of Into Mischief. He'd won the Grade 1 American Pharoah on the front end the race prior. And he's working fast.
Isn't his entry made faster, though, Rodriguez? I mean, is he going to be in front of him?
It appears so. And he ran in just his second start. Faster number than Citizen Bull's ever run.
Yeah, I am. This is not a horse that I am a fan of going forward, but we'll see.
And let's not forget, there's a third Baffert, Madacat Road, who was going to stretch out to a mile after 2 sprints.
I think Saul Cuman's one of the owners of this horse. Madacat Stables. Madacat. He's involved with all of them. He owns a piece of all 3 of them.
Yeah. So the Bob Baffert Show, back in a big way, being eligible again for this year's Kentucky Derby, and it's good for the game.
I agree. I think the notion that he was, listen, obviously what happened, and how it was handled very badly by Bob in many, many ways. However, the thing went on way too long, and both parties played a role in that. The good news is he's back, and he's a major factor, and I don't fall in that camp of people that think he's some sort of big cheater and he's, terrible for the game. The guy is as good a dirt trainer as has ever been in this game, and he has a lot of good horses, and I want to see the best horses running in the Derby.
Yeah.
And I
we're
know
going to
you
get
agree.
that this year. Yeah, Holy Bull, meanwhile, on the other side of the coast, Grade 3, mile and a 16th. 20 points to the winner of this one as well. And Jose D'Angelo will have guns loaded, who comes off back-to-back wins, including a stakes win on this track in the Mucho Macho Man.
I think Guns Loaded ends up being the third choice in this race. The only way he won't be is if the Irad Ortiz Guns Loaded factor plays. Just a slower race. Tappan Street is so much sexier. Ferocious has this enormous following, which at some point is going to crash and burn if he doesn't start delivering in a much, much bigger way. Guns Loaded could be the horse that ends up being the overlay in here, despite being the second choice in the line. And Beat Treat of Rome, a horse I know Chad Brown is high on, who improved a lot off his maiden win. And we'll see. Maybe he's the controlling speed in this race. It's not exactly a race that's loaded with speed.
He came back and he won a stake at his stakes debut, but he went backwards in terms of how fast he ran.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit of a negative there. $1.3 million. So much made about this horse before he ever ran. He lived up to the billing in the debut at Saratoga, and he's run sort of evenly and slower ever since.
Crazy purchase price is $1.3 for him, $800 for Tappan Street, $1 million for Guns Loaded. Yeah, I mean, I think that I understand that one of our jobs is to hype things, but there was a lot of overhype about him going into the hopeful, and he shouldn't have been 3-5 in that race, given how well Chance McPatrick had run. And he ran well in there, but the problem with him is he's running in spots. He just is not moving forward. He's had some trips in his races. Maybe he needs to get out of the gate a little bit better. He's obviously got some talent, but right now, his best race was on a wet track, and he's just not delivering. He's obviously a talented horse, and maybe he turns it around and becomes a real Triple Crown contender. He could, but he's going to have to start delivering, this guy, because right now, he's been a massive disappointment, and I don't think it's unfair to say that. Now, maybe he's massive disappointment because the expectations were so high. I'm interested in seeing Tappan Street, who ran that 84 buyer. He's been outworking his stablemate, the gun horse, Gunmetal, who's running in the 7 furlong swale despite being a gun runner. Mm-hmm. Now, that one ran a 96 buyer at Fairgrounds, whereas Tappan Street got an 84 buyer, beating horse Bob Moe that didn't run that well this weekend over at Gulfstream Park. And you wonder, now, Tappan Street consistently apparently outworks the other one. But after this weekend, we'll find out if one is better in the morning, but the other one's better in the afternoon. Still, if you're Brad Cox, that's 2 darn good horses to have in your arsenal.
3 of the most expensive 3-year-olds from this crop. We're
Crazy.
See lineup, in this race.
$3.1 million, and none of them cost, that much more than the others.
ABR race of the week here in New York on the road to that first Saturday in May with the Withers. Mile and an 1/8, and then we actually cut back in New York to a mile in the Gotham before stretching back out. Interesting field coming up. Captain Cook, big maiden score. It was on a wet track at 7/8 last start.
And I know that it broke Norm Cassie's heart to lose this horse. A horse he had trained for the Mary Lou Whitney stable. John Hendrickson unfortunately passing away suddenly last summer. They had a dispersal, and the connections, and of course the connections, St. Elias stable, Vinny Viola, who, sorry, if you're not familiar with Vinny, you haven't really been paying attention to the game. A great guy, and I always root for Vinny's horses. He's such a gentleman, somebody nice enough to have brought the Stanley Cup to Saratoga last year. Of course, he's the owner of the Florida Panthers, so I'm rooting for this guy, for Vinny to do well. I just wonder, and maybe Rick does too, if he's ultimately really a distance horse. His pedigree leans so much more towards sprints, both sides.
Is it the outside 3 in that race that are the big contenders? Mo Quality, Captain Cook, Omaha?
I guess, but I'm not going to fight with somebody that thinks Global Steve has a chance. It's Butch Reed.
Back tomorrow, 3 Eastern start time. Check your local listings on Fox. It was Del Rey with the win. 2 wins now, the last 3 starts. Back in race 5, Grooven keeps it going off that huge effort last time out. Now back-to-back very impressive wins for this new face. Stephen Chower on the New York circuit. Captain Cook, can he make an impact on the road to the first Saturday in May? We will find out in the Withers on Saturday.